30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, I think it might be officially college coach firing season. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Pro, we know James Franklin got shown the door on Sunday night. Now we're linking every Tom, Dick, and Harry to that job. But a new report came out about Florida yesterday from USA Today that now says Billy Napier may not last the weekend. Almost win or lose against Mississippi State. Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's a better job? If Billy Napier, who I think the writing's been on the wall here for quite some time, feels like it'd take a miracle for him to save his job, and I don't even know if that miracle exists. If I put it out to you, you're an elite college football coach, and you had your choice between Penn State and Florida, should that Florida job open, which one do you think is the better job?
I would actually take Florida. I know Penn State's came into the season ranked higher, and Florida hasn't been elite in a long time. But I feel like there's just so many natural advantages to Florida. Location, history, brand. I feel like if I got a hold of Florida with my personality, I would get the best team there.
What about you, screams Florida, the 100 SPF?
Well, that's true. But I just feel like that could be just a gigantic brand, and I think they should be able to compete money-wise with anyone, and I'm including Penn State in that, who presumably is at the near the top of the mountain in NIL capability. I think Florida should be too. And I just think Florida has national championship bones where Penn State, I'm not sure. I wonder if you look like beneath the hood, are they still actually reeling from the Joe Paterno scandal? Is this really a national championship program? I don't know because we haven't seen it in, gosh, how many years? 1986.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should look under the hood of either of these programs. You know, the Penn State one was obviously the worst scandal in the history of sports or society. I mean, we can go a lot of ways with how awful that was. But Florida also, the Urban Meyer years, while Tim Tebow was like the pious face of the whole thing, there was a lot of dark stuff going on behind the scenes there. So,
but there's no ramifications from any of that.
No ramifications. But what you had to do and what you... In fact, actually, I'll put it the other way. What you had to turn a blind eye to in order to get that dynasty, there was a lot there. I think that the brands, quite frankly, I think the money is probably pretty similar. I think Penn State is a national brand. I think Florida is a national brand. What I would say why I would take the Penn State job and why I think that would be, I'm not going to say easier because they're both, you're in a fishbowl and you're going to be crucified for every loss.
Sure.
But I think Indiana showed you that it's easier to get to the top quickly in the Big Ten.
Yeah, the schedule's easier.
Yeah. And, I'm not here to say, the SEC is so head and shoulders above every conference and everyone else is trash and the SEC is the only great college football conference. But I will give you that sometimes the bottom of the Big Ten can look pretty woeful. So, I mean, not that the SEC can't, but... Indiana now being number 3 in the country, I think you do have an easier path. And I'll put it this way. I think you have a truer path. I've been advocating for Lane Kiffin to take over the Penn State job if they would, find that a match. Because as much as he can make a lot of, noise at Ole Miss and they could have a fun team and a fun offense and he can find first-round quarterbacks one after the next, I don't know if Ole Miss has a clear path to a national title.
Oh, yeah, Ole Miss is not winning a title.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
A program like that has a limit where Penn State and Florida do not.
Exactly. So, and I think for me, Penn State is a little bit of a path. I mean, maybe I would say easier, but obviously nothing's easy in college football. Can I give you another one about Florida? So this Billy Napier report comes out from USA Today, right? That he's now might not survive the weekend. They have Mississippi State this weekend. Then they have Georgia the next week. So
Also bye.
Bye week, excuse me. Mississippi State, bye week, thank you, EJ, and then Georgia.
A game which they definitely could win in some bizarre logic, knowing what happened last year, but go ahead.
New coach bump or whatever.
Or even if he stays, like that is a game that Billy Napier definitely wins, knowing his history.
Yeah, right.
Last year he saved the season by beating a bunch of SEC teams, but go ahead.
Yeah, won his last 4 and held on to the job. This year beats Texas. All right, hold on to the job. Get your butt kicked by Texas A&M. Okay, up, down, life in the SEC. But this is like where, what was I saying? I'm saying about the schedule. No, I got sidetracked.
Schedule. That they're going from Mississippi to Florida.
This was the detail about the USA Today article that I thought makes me think that maybe Penn State, for all their tough history, and I'm not defending any of that, but might have their P's and Q's a little bit more put together than Florida. The report was that the boosters last year were going to pay Billy Napier's buyout. That's how badly they wanted him out of there. And the AD came to them and said, listen, don't waste your money on a buyout for the coach. Let's take all that money and let's put it into the roster, right? So they did it. They got Dallas Wilson to flip last minute from Eugene to go to Florida. But they also put in, supposedly, a stipulation that he had to hire an offensive coordinator. And he wanted that offensive coordinator to be Charlie Weis Jr., who's at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. And Charlie Weis Jr. didn't take the job. Maybe there were some other people he reached out to, but then it just sort of went away. He never really hired anybody. He's still calling plays.
So that sounds like a Billy Napier problem.
No, it sounds like no one's holding him accountable. Like
they are. They're about to hold him accountable this weekend.
No. This is last year. They said we need you to hire an offensive coordinator so you can stop calling plays because clearly you're not a good enough coach, or this is overwhelming that you can't call plays and also be the head coach. And he just didn't do it.
But it got too late to fire him by the time it was clear he wasn't getting an OC. So now they're firing him, and isn't that people are pointing to that as the reason they're firing him. So they're holding him accountable now.
I guess so. But I would just say, there's just feels like if you're going to make a stipulation, you've got to hire somebody and take the play calling duties off your plate. And then he doesn't do it, and you just let it go. Like, who's enforcing this supposed mandate? And you let him go, and you let him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I wonder if things are a little less buttoned up at Florida. That Jaden Rashada, I thought that was a really bad look for Napier. There's a lot going on with that high-level high school recruit who is alleging that Florida tried to pressure him into signing this big NIL deal, and when he didn't have his representation there, stuff like that. I just get the feeling there's a little more chaos behind the scenes with Florida, not to mention all the head coaches they've gone through since Urban Meyer, whether it's Will Muschamp or Jim McElwain or Dan Mullen and now Napier. And by the way, some of these coaches had 9 and 10 win seasons, which Florida would kill for right now.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think Florida probably wants a national title. I think they probably couldn't fire Napier because they knew Lagway would leave in the transfer portal last year. They probably wanted to fire him. And probably everybody in Gainesville, I imagine, wanted to fire Billy Napier at the end of last season. But he got it on that little win streak. And they knew if he was gone, they were going to lose their prize quarterback. So they had to take one more run because I guess Lagway loves Napier. But all that could turn around on a dime with a new coach. Like, if you have a powerful new coach in there who knows what he's doing, can he fix all of that?
But why hasn't it happened yet?
Well, the only reason I will just give you example A. What happened to Florida basketball? They got the right coach, and all of a sudden they're back to the glory days. So the Todd Golden's a reason that I think that Florida's a better job. What if they find a new Urban Meyer, a guy? I don't know what the formula is to find an Urban Meyer, but what if they find him?
Well, I think that's what they've been selling, this hope, right? Like, you have not seen, I don't know how much Florida basketball was selling hope, in this, my slump bust, the drought that I've been saying, counts for the Maggie 2025 year, the drought buster, year of the slump buster, that Florida basketball should count there. But, I guess
it seems like a similar kind of formula. You have this, it's one of the biggest state schools in the country. It's in the most football-rich territory in the world. It's got this history. It's got the colors. It's got the swamp. There's no reason Florida shouldn't be a national title contender. Now, Penn State's got a lot going for it, too. But I just feel like the right coach can turn all that around. I know, there's definitely, as you point out, been chaos. But, James Franklin, had his own form of chaos and the fact that he couldn't beat a good team. And James Franklin was pretty good. That's the other thing. Is the next coach at Penn State going to be as good as James Franklin? Probably not. So I don't know if that is going to be the best spot to come in. Do you really want to follow James Franklin, who won 11 games every year?
Yes.
I feel like Matt Rule doesn't. I feel like Matt Rule is like, give me Nebraska. I don't need to come in there. I mean, where the guy literally has double-digit wins every season, and they just fired him mid-season. I don't know that the Penn State is exactly the perfect spot to go because you're probably not going to be as good as Franklin.
Well, but we're talking about what's a better job, Penn State or Florida. Florida's obviously not open quite yet, but the reports are that the walls are closing in on Billy Napier. He may not survive the weekend. Here's why I'll still take Penn State, because Penn State gave James Franklin 12 years. He's been there forever. You're a Florida coach. You win 6 games your first season, you're already on a hot seat. None of these guys lasted more than 4 or 5 years. You know, Billy Napier's not even probably going to make it through the 4th year. So I think I'd rather go to Penn State. It feels like they have much longer leash, like a lot more patience with their head coaches as opposed to Florida, which is kind of like in the, Florida, LSU, some of these other SEC schools that feel like they should be winning championships every year. And if you don't, that means you've got to go.
I don't know. It feels like kind of a wimpy reason to take a job.
What, job security? It's the number one reason.
No, I feel like if I'm,
they know winning a title.
If I'm the hot candidate, I want to win a title, and I don't know why. It just feels like Penn State has a harder time than Florida. I could just see the right coach getting to Florida, and even in Florida State, who has been very mediocre, they had a title year basically. They went undefeated. You can catch lightning in a bottle down there and get the right players, and I think you could win a title. I know the SEC is brutal. I also think that eventually the College Football Playoff Committee is going to catch up to the scheduling trick. Like they're not going to be like, oh, you beat Purdue, you beat Maryland, you beat Northwestern. Hey, here's the playoff. I think that they are going to, because look at some of the SEC schedules. Why does every team in the SEC play a ranked team every week, and every team in the Big Ten plays Rutgers every week? I don't understand how this imbalance happened, but there's definitely an imbalance. So I think Florida's in an interesting spot. Listen, I don't think Florida will necessarily have the right hire. I think Florida might go crazy and do something weird.
Yeah, who's more likely also to bomb the hire?
Yeah.
We're asking you, what's the better job, Penn State or Florida? EJ, if you don't mind putting that up on the poll, please, at Maggie and Pearl on X, and then who's more likely to get it wrong? I mean,
you might ask who's more likely to hire John Gruden. That's definitely Florida Gators.
That's something. Wouldn't he be terrible in college?
No, he's born to coach college, and he's
just be the big personality.
Mr. Florida? Yeah, I mean, I feel like Gruden's been secretly lobbying to get a college job for a long time now. Did he call Tennessee and say, I want to be here? Yeah.
John Gruden would coach Saudi Arabia U right now. Yeah. I mean, he would take anything. So maybe he is actually better for college. I'm just surprised if he really wanted college, because you're right, he's a big personality. He could probably be great with the boosters and shaking hands and telling stories about working the fryer at Hooters and all that stuff. But if he could be coaching in college, don't you think he would be already?
He's tried many times. Right. I would say he put his name in for the Tennessee job. Yeah, here's the story. USA Today says he's been linked to Tennessee many times already. Every time there's an opening, Gruden, him, and then Florida. Yeah, no, that guy is totally a college guy. Rah-rah. This guy, you ever seen him in that quarterback room, that quarterback show? He just pumps those guys up and says, you're the greatest. And that's a college coach, not a pro coach. Nobody, if he gets hired in the NFL, then the NFL's lost its mind.
Football.
I mean, look at college, like character issues. Are you kidding me? Bobby Petrino's the head coach again.
888-710-4ISN. Better job. Football's happening. Penn State or Florida? Who's more likely to get it right?
I honestly, if I could have a time machine here and go to the future, I bet you Penn State's next hire is not as good as James Franklin.
Record-wise.
Yeah, he does not have the level of success that James Franklin had.
Do they win a title, though?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, James Franklin got to the Final Four. I don't think the next Penn State coach, it's going to be hard to find a guy who's going to have that kind of sustained success and recruiting success. Like, James Franklin had a pretty high bar. I mean, they were just in the Final Four.
Yeah, but this is where the next coach gets basically his whole era in a 12-team playoff or more. James Franklin coached a lot of his time at Penn State with a 4-team college football playoff, which was much harder.
Yeah, but you could get in the playoff. It doesn't mean that you're going to make any noise. I mean, there are a lot of teams in the 12-team playoff who were kind of irrelevant last year. No one thought Tennessee was coming out of that 12-team playoff. And actually, no one thought Penn State was coming out of that 10-team playoff.
You draw SMU at home on a freezing cold night.
You might get an easy first-round game, but eventually it's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, listen, I could be wrong about that. I feel like Florida, and mainly this is basketball, they could turn it around and win a championship and return to the Urban Meyer days.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Better job, Penn State or Florida, if it opens. I mean, I think we're all kind of expecting now with this reporting that their AD met with boosters. I think they're kind of getting their ducks in a row where they have Mississippi State this weekend and then they have the bye before Georgia. 888-710-4ISN. Lots to do today. Man, the NFL. People apologizing. You got people calling out the league. Rah-rah-rah football. Yeah. Tons of rah-rah-rah football. We got a game tonight. 2 40-year-old quarterbacks going head-to-head. Hip to hip. Bad hip to bad hip. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. So much to do.
Joe Flacco?
It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Let's go.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. We're debating which is a better head coaching job, Penn State, which is open, and Florida, which could be open soon because there are reports that they're going to fire Billy Napier. You know, I actually left my number one reason in the holster of the last segment. I mean,
okay,
weather. Why are we overthinking this? Why would you want to be in Happy Valley when you could be down in Gainesville? I think the weather is the number one reason. I mean, you laugh, but I feel like Lane Kiffin's on the job market. There's no way Lane Kiffin's going to central Pennsylvania when a job is open in Florida. It's gorgeous down there. And look at the population trends in America. They're all going to Florida. Yeah.
I guess the taxes, I don't know, that's what rich people talk about?
It's nice down there. Of course you would want to do Florida. I remember I was talking to Devin Leary. Remember Devin Leary?
Yeah.
I think he's a backup somewhere. He was telling the story of him, Will Levis, and Justin Fields were all in James Franklin's recruiting office. And he thought, like, well, there's no way Justin Fields has every offer in the country. There's no way he's coming up from Atlanta to a cold part of the country. And he committed to Penn State, and he was shocked.
Yeah, and then where did he actually end up going?
He ended up going to Georgia.
Well, then where'd he go?
Well, to Ohio State. But he definitely chose Georgia over Penn State. I just think that it's hard. You know, if everything is equal, would you choose Florida? I mean, all the good players are from 3 states, Florida, California, and Texas. I just think Florida has a natural advantage.
Yeah, well, and Ohio. I think that Ohio has a lot of good players. I think Pennsylvania has a lot of good players.
But nothing like down there.
Well,
I mean,
maybe not, but obviously enough to hold your own. I mean, look at all the players, look at the rosters of guys who are on Ohio State, who are on Penn State, who are on Michigan.
Are those guys from the North? I guess Drew Aller's from Ohio, but generally, a lot of they're good. Ohio State goes down south all the time.
No, but the national championship game, the roster from last year, all the guys that came back, all those dudes on the defense, Jack Sawyer, all these dudes.
A lot of Ohio guys there.
Definitely Ohio guys.
Yeah, you'll mix in a Jeremiah Smith from Miami, but
Cardell Tate and.
Well, maybe some of the skill guys, and maybe your quarterbacks come from California or whatever. But I think the lifeblood is recruiting the area. And to me,
no, I don't think so.
I don't think football coaches care about weather unless you already have one foot out the door and you're already thinking about lake life or boat life or fishing and stuff. Everyone has hobbies. You can have hobbies in central Pennsylvania if they exist. Might not be, like marlin fishing, but whatever. Let's go to Josh, who's in PA. Josh, what's a better job, Penn State or Florida?
Okay, I'm not a homer, but I got to say it's Penn State. Reason number one is Franklin's buyout was $50 million. You just get 9 wins a year, and you're going to get a $50 million buyout. I don't know what Napier's is.
Yeah.
Number two,
Napier's is
the
less.
schedule. I think Perloff mentioned the schedule. Have you seen what Penn State's schedule is next year? It's the cupcake, like you're in a bakery full of cupcakes. Number three, and I think if Penn State follows the game plan, like as Georgia did, Mark Richt could never get over that final hump. Follow the Georgia game plan and get yourself this year's Kirby Smart, and you're going to have a cupcake walk to the playoffs every year.
I know. If only it was that easy, though, Josh, to find the next Kirby Smart. Thank you for the phone call. I'm looking at this Penn State schedule next year. Now, you still have, still have Michigan. Like, you're not going to be able to avoid everybody.
Listen, Maggie, we could be the offensive line for Penn State next year. We could beat these teams.
I mean, Michigan basically is it. But listen, Penn State just showed you they could go and lose to UCLA. They can lose to Northwestern at home. When it's bad, it's bad.
Florida has a down schedule next year too, believe it or not, which is rare in the SEC. They do have Georgia, but they have no one on their schedule next year. But we're talking about 1 year. This is a job. This should be 5 years.
Yeah, but you got to start off good. Brandon is in Tennessee as the opposite view. Brandon, why is Florida the better job over Penn State?
Well, first off, I want to bring up John Gruden real quick.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking about John Gruden wanting to go to UT. You have to remember John Gruden started off as a GA at UT, so that's why he has a big draw there.
Yeah, no, I read a report. It's just he was really close to taking that job multiple times.
Oh, yeah, he would make an absolute amazing college coach. So you kind of mentioned it a minute ago. Florida has the pipeline, but you look at the Big Ten, and I hate saying this because I am a Big Ten guy. Big Ten schedules are usually easier.
Yep.
So if you're trying to get in the playoffs, win a conference championship, you're going to look at going to Penn State. But like you said, weather, recruits, you're looking at Florida. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I was Florida, why would you not throw your entire bank account and try to bring Urban Meyer back? I pray to God it doesn't happen, but why would you not throw the bank account at Urban Meyer and try to bring him back?
Yeah, Brandon, I mean, I'm every name is floating around. I don't know if Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, I don't think these guys are running back, you know? Maybe I'm wrong. They have more money than God already. Like, I don't know if they're rushing back. They got these cushy TV jobs. Urban is, saved his reputation, I think, after how bad it got with Jacksonville.
I was going to say, is there any concern about Urban Meyer and what happened with Jacksonville? I know it's the NFL, but it seemed to go beyond NFL adjustment. It seemed like he didn't really know what was going on. It didn't seem like he was putting in the work.
I think they'd overlook that. But I just wonder for Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, these guys found their success in college football, but this was a very different college football.
Right, that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah,
this is a
NIL.
Yeah,
you can't stack the 5 stars on top of 5 stars anymore, like those Alabama rosters were.
But yeah, usually when guys come back, it's not as good.
Yeah.
In the NFL and college, I think it's really hard to have a second act. Also, Urban's offense kind of hit you in the mouth before. Now the offenses have evolved. Everybody learned Urban's offense. So I think it's different. By the way, can I go back to one thing? Jack Sawyer is from Columbus, Ohio. The rest of the team is from California, Washington, Texas, and Florida. Ohio State is not pulling guys from Central New York.
Half of their recruits this year are from Ohio. I just looked at
the pros. They've had 20 players drafted.
Pros. I'm talking about their roster.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. The great players they've had come through this team are all from all over the country. Like, all these draft guys are from all over. Like, that's what, and Penn State's going to have to be the same way. Like, you're not going to win by locally recruiting. You have to, like Oregon going into California, you have to be able to go into warm weather places. And Franklin was very good at that.
Yeah, they're both national brands, you know, with national footprints. I think you will get a sit down with any recruit in the country, pretty much, if you say I'm coming from Penn State or even Florida. I think both of them have that. I don't think that's advantage one or the other. I think they both can get recruits.
If the NIL money's the same, you don't think there are some people who would choose the weather of Florida? I mean, I know I talk about weather a lot, but I definitely think that could be a thing. I mean, it has been for a long time in college football.
Then why doesn't Miami win the title every year?
Oh, man, that's a dream.
Miami put together the greatest roster in the history of the sport.
That's also true.
35 years ago.
2001.
It wasn't 35 years ago. I was alive.
Okay, well, there's a couple more. There were a couple times they put together the greatest roster. But
I mean, and the second greatest roster was probably
forever ago.
Second greatest roster was probably Florida State, and Florida was probably the third greatest roster. Warm weather obviously helps in college football. I mean, this is no secret. We live in the Northeast. It ain't exactly the hotbed of the sport.
Ohio State's going to go back to back. What do you think it's there? Balmy? What do you think? Have you seen? I mean, Michigan won the national title. What do you got? A bathing suit on? In Ann Arbor? You can't even wear one in the summer there.
Since the year 1990, how many cold weather teams have won titles compared to warm weather teams?
Well, Nick Saban went on an all-time run.
What about Urban Meyer? What about LSU? What about Florida? What about Florida State?
What about Ohio
Nebraska?
State? What about Michigan? I mean, we can do this.
How many titles have they won?
Won the last 2.
The Big Ten.
Since 1990, how many titles have Big Ten, those cold weather Big Ten teams won?
Okay. I'm just saying, if you take out Nick Saban's run at Alabama, well, then maybe there could have been more teams and there would have been a little bit more parity. I'm just saying, Pearl, like
USC, Texas, like this
Texas
is a
has a
warm weather
one-jack
sport.
squad.
I'm just saying, since in the last 30 years, you look at the champions, most of them are warm weather teams. It's just obvious.
Ohio State has way more titles than some of those teams you just named, though.
I just don't think that weather plays into it for college football coaches. We're talking about what's a better job. Is it Florida or is it Penn State? I don't think they think that way. I think these guys are pretty much locked in their offices or at booster events or whatever. I don't know how much they even get to enjoy what's around them. So maybe
we're talking about recruiting, though.
I thought we were talking about lifestyle.
No. I'm
we
saying
both
like
just said they have a national footprint. They can both get recruits.
If there's 2 recruits and the same NIL money for Penn State and Florida, I think you could argue that a lot of people would maybe choose Florida.
Well, then how is Penn State getting any recruits? Because there's plenty of schools that are in warm weather. James Franklin
is a miracle worker. I do not know how he got all those players there. Yeah, I mean, generally, I totally disagree with you about cold weather, the sport being equal in cold weather and warm weather. Yeah, I know Ohio State and Michigan have won these 2 titles. I feel like Michigan was a one-off. I don't think they're going to be back.
Why? They were in the Final Four the year before. They lost to TCU, but they were there.
I one off in the sense that was Jim Harbaugh had just worked his ass off for 8 years to finally get there, and now I don't expect them to be in the running every year. And Ohio State is an outlier. I'll give you that. Ohio State is a powerhouse, but generally the sport lives between California, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, and Florida.
I'll be honest, though, in this new format, and the format will always change, but we're talking about a 12-team college football playoff for now, where you get the first round on your home campus. You don't tell me Penn State didn't have an advantage when that's SMU coming to town. You're telling me that Ohio State didn't have an advantage with Tennessee coming to town. You might want to be in a cold weather place with the way things are set up now, because it's such a bigger home field advantage.
I would take that bet. Because first of all, you're putting a lot on Ohio State and Penn State. And Michigan.
Yeah.
If you take those 3 teams out, you got LSU, you got Florida, you got Clemson, you got Alabama,
Indiana
you
now.
got USC, you can have Indiana. You have so many powerhouses down there. I'm looking at the list of champions. It ain't cold in most of these places.
Let's get to Chris Lopresti, who's got headlines for us. What's up, CeeLo?
Good morning. Football is heating up and basketball is back. So download the Prize Picks app and use code PRIMETIME. Get $50 bonus credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Resumption of the ALCS last night and down 2-0 going on the road to Seattle. The Blue Jays found themselves in a quick 2-0 hole after the first inning until Andres Jimenez helped Toronto turn things around.
Corners are still in, though, in the 0-1. Swing and a high drive. Right field. Robles racing back to the warning track. Looks up at the wall. It's gone! Wow. Andres Jimenez with a 2-run blast to tie the game in the third.
Blue Jays radio with the call. That sparked a 5-run inning. The Jays never trailed again on their way to a 13-4 victory to get on the board in the series. So Jimenez, Vlad Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Alejandro Kirk, and Addison Barger all went deep for Toronto. And for Guerrero, he had a 4-for-4 night at the plate, just a triple short of the cycle. Afterwards, Derek Jeter, as part of the FS1 coverage, asking Vladdy Jr. the hard-hitting questions.
In the history of the sport, there has been one cycle in the postseason. How come you stopped at second base, man? How come you stopped?
I mean, I just looked at third base coach, and he has taught me, when you got to listen to your coach.
There you go. Team over personal stats when it
I'm
comes
Derek
to
Jeter. You shot me.
Postseason, and they got the win in comfortable fashion. You got Game 4 tonight, 8:33 Eastern first pitch. You've also got Game 3 of the NLCS with the Dodgers up 2-0 on the Brewers, heading back to L.A. Meantime, the Orioles are reportedly interested in speaking with Albert Pujols about their managerial vacancy. He's already looked at as the prime candidate for the Angels job, having previously met with Halos brass. To football now, Brock Purdy returned to practice on a limited basis for the 49ers, hoping to find his way into the Sunday night home game against the Falcons. And Tua Tagovailoa walking back comments about his teammates following the Dolphins' loss to the Chargers this past weekend.
I let the emotions of the game get to me after the game. That's something that I can learn from as a leader on this team. And what happens in-house should be protected. None of that should have gotten out. And so want to publicly apologize about that want to move forward, and now want to focus on the Cleveland Browns.
So the apology is for what? Going like airing dirty laundry?
Totally.
Because I don't like, there was another part of the quote where he says, no matter the intent, when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it. I hate when guys do that. Yo, you said it. You're apologizing. There's nothing taken out of context. Just own the whole thing.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, like sometimes it takes a while for things to get through to me. So this could be a little pot kettle, but we've had a few of these now with Tua. Remember, he called out Brian Flores after Flores was gone. That was like, maybe I shouldn't have called out my former coach. And then he said that, Tyreek Hill had a lot of making up to do in the locker room and then had to come out. I mean, this guy apologized more than Ryan Clark. It's like, maybe we got to learn, like, you got to just be a little more vanilla when you're 1-5.
He's been talking all offseason and in the training camp. I mean, not just the Tyreek Hill stuff. He's been chirping at people who are saying he's not playing well. I mean, he I don't know. I don't know what his deal is.
I don't buy the apology.
Yeah, but he definitely don't buy that.
If he was balling right now, then it'd be totally fine. We'd be like, yeah, Tua,
we
go.
wouldn't have to do any of this.
He wouldn't be doing any of this stuff.
But
Everything would be great.
But it's just easy to dunk on him when the team is 1-5.
No,
That's
it's
why
easy to dunk on him when he says this stuff.
Yeah, I don't think
if they were 5-1 and he said the same thing and called out Tyreek Hill, nobody would care.
Wait, what?
I'm saying if they were good and they were winning, we'd be all like, "Hey, Tua's the best." I mean, this is a function of playing bad football to start with. That's the bottom line here. Like, that's why we're going after
Right, but
Tua.
it's like chicken or the egg, right? Like, you don't have to say guys are late to players-only meetings if your team's 5-1. You kind of assume that things are a little more buttoned up. But I kind of disagree because the year after he called out Brian Flores, didn't they win 11 games and go to the playoffs? And we still said that was a mistake.
No, everyone sided with Tua.
No, that was after he did that. After they won those games.
Oh, it was
and
the
then
feeling
next year,
himself. Got it.
Yeah, and everybody sided with
I got my
Tua.
timeline wrong.
Yeah, that was last offseason.
Right.
Apologies.
Or 2 seasons offseason before that.
You just portrayed that as a negative for Tua, and it was a positive at the time because he was throwing a ton of touchdowns, right? Like, everybody sided with Tua. Nobody sided with Brian Flores, as I recall. When it first came out, it was like, yeah, why are they having a defensive coach for a quarterback? He doesn't get it. He's got to develop this guy. That's how I remember that.
But I think there was still a question of why are you saying it, right? Like, why are you went to the playoffs, but you didn't actually do anything in the playoffs. And now the first taste of success you get, you're using your platform to fire off against a coach that got fired.
I don't remember being that unanimous. I think he definitely had more support, but I don't think it was just every single person was like, oh, no, like you were 100% right. I think some people were like, let that be in the past.
Oh, I feel like
I said that.
I feel like there was a massive backlash against Brian Flores' coaching style. That's what I remember.
Oh, there was. There
yeah.
was because he was like, because he told us, what was going on behind the scenes and how much it impacted him. But I don't know if everyone loved that he did it.
Also, you say that, if he were balling out, this wouldn't be a conversation. I mean, the Eagles are 4-2, and all we talk about is their dysfunction as well. So they can be, you could be a 2-loss team.
They just lost to the Giants.
Yeah, I don't care. They're the defending champions, Pearl. Come on.
Well, yeah,
Let's
but they're
be
playing
real.
badly. Like, that's why everyone's going after them.
Oh,
But
my God.
before that loss to the Giants, when the record was good still, there was still a lot of chatter, specifically about the guys on offense.
I mean, they were undefeated, and we were talking about as the Eagles.
Yeah,
falling apart.
but because they're falling apart at the seams, even when they were undefeated.
Well, yeah,
So
but I
it's
think
a bizarre way.
I mean, I think that's the point, though, is that like if there's dysfunction, there's dysfunction, right?
Whether you're the reigning champs or not.
I actually really disagree with you guys. I think when guys are playing well, we bend over backwards to praise them because it's really about what happens on the field. Like, it's not the chicken or the egg. It's really the key part is what, you're right. He would never have to do a team
He
only
offered this up. No one was like, hey, are people showing up late to players only meetings?
Like right now, basically, Baker Mayfield could say whatever he wants, but he's playing so well. He could be like, I hate you media, you're a bunch of scumbags. Never come here again. We'd be like, God, the grit on that guy.
But that's not calling out your teammates. It still would be. I get your
you were
point.
saying you hate when you call it the journalist.
In the media.
I just hate that he's now. It's
he
like,
got misquoted in my own press conference.
It got misconstrued. However, the media wants.
Control someone's takeaway from your own comments. That's not misconstruing your comments. That's someone having a commentary on what you said.
Right.
That's someone's opinion. You can't say, oh, just because you guys think that this is a bad reflection on me, you're misconstruing what I said, which is no, we're not. We're just taking what you said and applying whatever we think about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's been chatter about prior to his comments coming into the season. There was talk about guys not really being all in with Mike McDaniel down there. I forget. who was
Bradley
one of
Chubb. He goes, we said we had a good culture last year. We were lying.
Right.
And now we have a good culture.
So, I mean, that's the bigger issue.
Yesterday I was lying. Today I'm telling the truth.
The truth is that it's like a massive total mess down there.
Yeah.
Every single aspect of the team. I mean,
That's true.
You get paid $20 million a year. You have an open shot at the quarterback. Tackle that dude. They're the number 32 run defense. That is the main problem in Miami right now. I don't care what Tua says. Tackle somebody.
That'd be
please.
a good place to start. Yes. Quickly before I run out of time here, NBA regular season beginning next week. Russell Westbrook's got yet another new home, 1-year deal with the Kings, $3.5 million or so, as he will enter his 18th year in the NBA. Sacramento also agreeing to a 5-year extension with Keegan Murray, $140 million, and Malcolm Brogdon abruptly retiring after 9 seasons, even though he was supposed to be an important bench piece for the Knicks this season. That will not be the case.
So I've randomly got stuck on Kings games a few times. Keegan Murray gets an extension based on what?
That's the NBA, baby.
$140 million?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
He's good. What do you mean?
Good.
He's not that good.
What do you mean?
He drills threes and steals the ball, bro.
That team is not good.
No, you're right.
I mean,
but
we know
Keegan
that.
Murray's pretty good.
Yeah, but this is the same thing we talk
He's a
about
disappointment.
with
At number
Tua.
5 overall pick, I've expected more out of that dude.
Oh, I totally disagree with that.
This is what we talk about, though, with young quarterbacks, too. It's like, if you're on the fence, if it's even just a little bit, should we pay him, should we not? Teams feel like they have to pay guys.
Most top 5 picks suck now. You can't even start them.
He's a top 5 pick, he's averaging 12 points a game on a losing team, and he's getting $140 million.
Bro,
I
that's
don't
like
know.
mid-level exception money in the NBA.
NBA
That
contracts
is very true. No, I forgot to put on my NBA numbers glasses.
Oh, yeah. By the way, did you see the amazing tweet yesterday? And again, this goes back to football. This Twitter handle Dove. He's an aggregator, but he has like
Dove Kleiman,
Dove
Kleiman, Clay, whatever.
He's got this like weird spin now that he puts on these stories where some are just like incredibly sarcastic.
Yeah, it's rage bait.
It's rage bait. Oh, and he had a perfect one yesterday about Cam Newton. Apparently, Cam was very open about he's got 8 kids, and now that he doesn't have these NFL checks coming in all the
8
time,
kids.
he said he feels guilty because he can't give his kids the type of lifestyle that he once gave them. Cam made $120 million in his career, and they put that as the final. Cam only made $120 million, and he can't give the kids the lifestyle he thinks they deserve.
We got to get an Uber.
I'm like, what do you want your kids to live like Bezos? What's the lifestyle?
Maybe cut back on his wardrobe budget a little bit. There'd be a little
Those
extra
hats.
cash for the kids.
See, like, you know
hats
that's
are
not
his.
happening.
He's not paying for those. Like,
Oh, now he's a brand, right?
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I feel like what I love when Dove does, he does the sad or
No, his
inspirational, like the one line.
It's the best. It's
a
so
subject,
funny.
basically.
It's the funniest thing
A
on the
little
internet to me.
insider media, but it's very
If
funny.
you're on social media, you follow anything with sports, you definitely have seen these.
Well,
tweets.
the thing is, the players retweet Dove all the time. So that's why if you follow an athlete, he's probably following Dove.
It was just very much of the Latrell Sprewell, I can't take $8 million from the Minnesota Timberwolves because I have a family to feed.
Yes, classic.
Yeah, and by a family, I mean a small country. 888-710-4ISN. Thank you, CeeLo. Coming up, we got a Cowboy Quickie for you. Jerry Jones at the mic. What else is new?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. That music means it's time for a Cowboys Quickie. Let's check in with Jerry Jones. We had some calls to the show, Pearl, earlier in the week with fans just incensed with the Cowboys defense. They want Matt Eberflus fired. So Jerry Jones responding to the fans that want Eberflus axed.
He's had tremendous experience. He's dealt with adversity with a long record. Not only with us, but with his tenure at Chicago and Indianapolis. And he's had some great successes, had some very great successes, but he's had his tail kicked. That's who I want in the foxhole with me, because there's no such thing as having all the answers.
That's hilarious. This is all from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, by the way, with Jerry's weekly interview. I love that, Pearl. It's like, my defensive coordinator, he's been through it all. He's got his ass kicked more than anybody. A couple successes, too, although I can't really think of any. But, boy, this guy's been through the fire. Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, he was really good in Indy. He should be good. He's got a terrible defensive roster this year. That's on Jerry.
More from Jerry. So Eberflus not going anywhere. Says the issues are going to get fixed. Meanwhile, Jerry also asked about George Pickens, who's now had to step up into a big role with CeeDee Lamb hurt. Manny, I'll hear cut 4, please. Jerry said the team will consider a contract extension if the team does well, but obviously got to think about how much you want to pay a second wide receiver.
We'll weigh that. We knew full well that if things really went like we want them to go, that certainly we need to think about having some room available if we're going to pay a second receiver at that level.
I can't do this, guys.
Yeah, I'm out.
I can't do this.
You mean in July when you and I are debating whether George Pickens is worth the money?
I want to preemptively opt out. Like, I'll do it for Micah Parsons. I'll do it for CeeDee Lamb. I'm not saying George Pickens is not a great receiver, but I can't do this again. That's your Cowboy Quickie.
I was saying to someone before the show, what if they franchise tagged George Pickens and he didn't want to be franchise tagged? Oh, would that be delicious?
Now that I would talk about.
Yeah, it would be every day, the back and forth, the Instagram messages, the hidden messages. Let's go. I mean, I hate to say it, I was a little bit wrong. That guy's a true number one wide receiver. They have two number one wide receivers wandering around the field in Dallas right now.
Turns out you put him with a good quarterback, and he looks even better.
He is so good. Well, actually, he was probably good in Pittsburgh.
He was.
But they didn't target him.
They didn't throw
enough.
the ball. They didn't have a good quarterback.
I thought it was more game plan. Like, when they did throw it to him, he was okay, but he'd get 2 targets a game. So, because they're so conservative in Pittsburgh, and now they're way different here. He's really talented. So, he could really help another team. I was thinking he could be a number one. Would you say there's any logic here? He doesn't belong as a number 2 on a roster. He belongs as a number 1.
Yeah, or if you are going to franchise tag him and you think that he's actually going to show up and not be a gigantic pain in the rear end, then you have a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins type of thing for half the money.
Yeah, do 1 year. Yeah, but then he's gone.
Yeah, then you could it's harder to tag and trade guys when it's on the second one. But I was saying to EJ, wouldn't it be like Jerry also to also keep everybody on their toes and somehow in the Dallas Cowboys, some random week, they just give George Pickens this massive extension. Well, and it's like nothing. We didn't even see it coming, and they dropped the news.
Like they did that defensive tackle Osa, out of nowhere.
Literally what I told Maggie earlier.
Yeah, it was like maybe they just zag on this one. Instead of having some prolonged contract negotiation, they just dropped the bag in George Pickens' lap.
Well, actually, after Micah left, Jerry started handing out contracts like candy because he was so embarrassed about being called cheap by everybody, which he was. And of course, it made no sense. It was an idiotic plan. And this is going to play out not well.
We have some from George Pickens also. Manny, can I hear Cut 5 said he is willing to stay in Dallas long term?
I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, the guys in the locker room super cool. The energy is great. But like I said, I always, want to showcase my talents, most definitely.
Also said that his number one thing is he wants to play for a winner. I mean, insert Dallas Cowboys joke right there. Yeah. And they're a playoff team, usually. Does that count enough, do you think, for George Pickens?
I think the money is going to be the number one priority for him. He could say that, which is good. And to be honest, George, I think Jerry's right. George has been a good teammate. He's been a good guy for most accounts behind the scenes. But once it comes to actually getting paid, I think it's going to be about getting paid. If that comes from the Bengals, or not the Bengals, but the Browns or whatever, I think he's going to go.
Whoever's the highest bid.
Yep.
Yeah. Generally, the teams that are actual contenders are kind of maxed out usually. Yeah. It's hard to just say, all right, now we're going to add a number 1 wide receiver, but I'll tell you, a lot of teams could use them.
Well, I mean, like Pittsburgh added DK. You can trade for number 1. Obviously, the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown. But I would watch the targets moving forward because you got CD, who is a target monster, and you got Pickens. How is this going to look? How are they going to share the ball? I mean, it could be really, on a functional team, that's awesome to have a 1-2 like that, but I don't think it's going to be awesome. I think that there's going to be frustration.
So far, there hasn't, but it kind of worked out that CD's down, and so George is getting all the shine, and the offense has to score at least 30 points a game because their defense is so bad that they need the offense to be throwing the ball all the time to stay in these games. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's be honest. Jerry's talking this whole thing this offseason. We got to be able to stop the run. Michael Parsons didn't help us with that. We had to trade him away. You shouldn't be breaking the bank for a second wide receiver. That's not your problem. Receiver's not your issue. Defense is your issue. You should be breaking the bank for defense. You have the worst run defense in the league.
I would counter. They are a particular team. Remember, one of their problems been is everyone knew they were throwing to CD on every play. They've kind of been shallow on offense, right? They've been CD Lamb or bust for 3 years. That is a narrative. I mean, I remember we came in the season and say without a number 2 receiver, they're not going to do anything. That particular team, you remember that. There was all Lamb or nothing.
Totally. However, if you can have look at the Bengals, you can have all the wide receivers in the world. If your defense can't stop anybody, what does it ultimately get?
I don't know. Eagles have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and they just won a Super Bowl. And they didn't even use them.
Jalen Carter in the middle and all these great defensive players, no?
Well, now they don't, but they did last year.
I think Jalen Carter's coming back. Heard he practiced this week. Okay, coming up next, would one high-profile college coach leave a very good job to go to Penn State?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Pearl, I know you love quarterback matchups. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Fillipponi. Can I offer you a little USC Notre Dame this weekend? Could be one of the best college quarterback matchups, well, definitely of the week.
Could it? I don't know. I mean,
CJ Carr, Jordan Mailata.
I mean, CJ Carr is ascending, obviously. Jordan Mailata is very confusing to people. People can't decide if he's mid or a first-round pick.
Well, that's why these types of games are really great, and we're going to get it center stage. Now, if only the conversation was around this actual game, this rivalry, which is kind of up in the air as far as USC and Notre Dame playing each other in the future. But the bigger question is because a report from a media outlet called On3, which we have friends who work there, reporting that Penn State and their athletic director is really going to be taking some big swings here. Now, I kind of think that he and Matt Rule, the Nebraska head coach, who already have this great relationship, may have already had this thing kind of handshake agreement. That's my little skepticism, eyebrow raised. But On3 says they are going to really take big swings. And one of them is even trying to pry Marcus Freeman away from Notre Dame. So I ask you, is Penn State a better job than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Well, there's two questions here. Is it a better job is one thing. I would argue no. It's equivalent at best, probably a tiny bit worse. But the second thing is there's no way they're getting Marcus Freeman. Like you say, big swings. Like that is going for beyond the fences. Like why on earth would Marcus Freeman leave Notre Dame for Penn State? So I guess the answer to that question is no, Penn State is not a better job.
Okay, so the only reason why I think there could be a shred here, and again, I don't know if Matt Rule is already just going to take the job and this is all just an exercise in futility, but why I think there could be a potential, at least a conversation to be had with Marcus Freeman is a similar thing that Brian Kelly said when he left Notre Dame. Now, this could look like an excuse, and obviously Notre Dame got into the college football championship game, so it made Brian Kelly look a little silly, but he said that you can't really recruit the way you want to when the academic standards at certain places are pretty rigorous and rigid. And at places like Notre Dame, we've heard Michigan complain about this stuff before too, that the academic standards are high. And so for some guys, it's just, school's not their thing or, they whatever. So Brian Kelly thought he'd have a better chance recruiting at LSU. They also gave him $100 million. Right. And I think the same combination could happen for Marcus Freeman. You have looser academic standards at Penn State, and you'll probably get $100 million.
So they abandoned that entire formula at Notre Dame, right? Guess who's got the number one class 2026? Notre Dame. And guess who's leaning towards having the number one class 2027? Notre Dame. So they just said there are no more standards. You can recruit away, and he's gotten the greatest recruiting classes. Like that's a thing in the past. He can out recruit everybody at Notre Dame. So I don't know. That's just not a thing anymore. It can't be based on recruiting rankings. So none of that matters.
All right. Well, there's also an idea.
You don't buy the recruiting rankings?
Not really, because we actually, listen, he had a really good recruiting class 2 years ago, and he found himself in the national championship game.
Right. No, I just
don't think those classes matter because you're basically recruiting your own roster back every single year. The turnover because the transfer portal is so constant. I don't put as much maybe into that.
Well, I think that Notre Dame just changed their philosophy altogether. And whatever they were doing to Brian Kelly, they got rid of because they wanted to win. So I don't think there's any recruiting advantage anymore. The thing is, Notre Dame is just as big a brand, if not bigger, than Penn State. And if you're not going to put handcuffs on them in the recruiting trail, then I think they're probably a slightly better program. Also, the obviously advantages, their schedule is always going to be easy. And Marcus Freeman, particularly as an Ohio State alum, probably that would be the only place he would jump, not Penn State, I would think. Because I think Notre Dame is probably a scunch better of a job.
I mean, the whole thing about the schedule, though, is, Notre Dame also has been playing some really heavy hitters in the non-conference. Look at how they started the season at Miami and then Texas A&M. These are two of the best teams in the country. They played Ohio State a couple years ago as the opener. Went down to Texas A&M last year. A&M came to them this year. Like, I know that, look at who Penn State plays in the non-conference. Villanova? What are you, crazy?
Good at hoops.
Yeah, no kidding. But
Jalen Brunson had a great game that day.
Yeah, does Jalen Brunson put on football pads?
Yeah, he had 2 interceptions that day. Don't you remember?
Yeah. I'm just saying, sometimes the Notre Dame schedule, I understand we clown it, but that's just because USC happens to be down and Stanford happens to be down.
Stanford happens to be down?
Well, I'm just saying,
Well, now they got that $50 million thing coming. Maybe they'll be good. But, but they have this ACC schedule that will always lift them up after that early season.
Well, the Penn State's got this bottom of the Big Ten schedule. They're not supposed to lose to UCLA. They're not supposed to lose to Northwestern. They just did.
I just think that generally, this year it turned out that Texas A&M is really good. But generally, they have a couple really tough non-conference games. Then it's a lot of Army, Navy, Purdue, NC State.
Yeah, but again, they had to play Miami and Texas A&M.
Yeah,
that's
but
harder than anyone Penn State's played.
Was A&M even?
Besides Oregon,
ranked? Was A&M even ranked at that point? But regardless, generally though, you don't think Notre Dame's schedule is easy? You always have 2 service academies.
I think Penn State's schedule is easy. I think this is where you and I are kind of I don't think it's so appreciably easier.
Okay, I definitely think Notre Dame is going to have a guaranteed easier road. Generally, and I don't know why, if the ACC does this on purpose. Why do they rarely play the good ACC teams either?
They play Miami.
It just seems like generally their schedule is easy. I don't know. Maybe you could be right. I'd like to see the analytic year by year team right. I know a lot of sites do this, strength of schedule. I thought last year was pretty light, I'll be honest. And yeah, they played these teams and lost to them, and they're still getting in the playoffs. How many ranked teams are they going to end up beating this year?
Is USC going to be ranked?
0.0.
Well, is USC
I'm going to say no.
Are they ranked right now?
They're 21, right?
Yeah, so they are. They're ranked. They're playing this weekend.
Okay.
Literally playing a ranked team in 3 days.
Wait, okay? So I take that back. But generally, though, they're going to have the weakest strength of schedule in the 12-team playoff. Strength of win. I guess you get in also is strength of loss matter. To me, that shouldn't be as big a deal. But they're not. They're really going to have a light road. That's obvious, right?
Who do you think has played harder teams so far this year? Notre Dame or Penn State?
Notre Dame. Who's beaten harder teams this year?
But I'm just saying, you're saying the schedule is, I'm not saying wins, losses. You're talking about who do they put on the schedule? Who do they put on the schedule? Notre Dame still has some hard games, unless they go completely, like Penn State in the non-conference and they take on absolutely nobody.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Notre Dame, their upcoming schedule is amazing. It's so if they get through USC, they have to go to Boston College, then Navy, then Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Stanford.
Who did they start the season with?
Well,
you're glossing over that.
No, but generally, I just think Notre Dame has a path every year because they just have these built-in games like Navy and Army. And last year, it just seemed. Isn't this year a repeat of last year? They lost early season games, which they should stop scheduling, by the way, because they're not winning those games. And then they just beat up a bunch of bad teams, and they're Notre Dame with the gold helmet. You're in, baby.
We asked you on Twitter today, what is the better head coaching job? Is it Penn State or is it Florida? This is off of the reports from yesterday that Billy Napier may not survive the weekend, win or lose against Mississippi State. Yeah, EJ.
On that point, sorry, just real quickly, 53% said Penn State, 47% said Florida is the better job.
Yeah.
And then the interesting question was we also added which school is more likely to screw up their coaching hire.
Yeah.
44% said Penn State, 55% said Florida.
Yeah. People do not trust Florida to make this hire.
I mean, they've been cycling through coaches left and right, so they haven't been good at this.
No, they have not.
Real quick, I just wanted to mention on the schedule thing that Penn State strength schedule, according to, I guess, the College Football Power Index right now is 99. I believe Notre Dame is 28.
Right, but look preseason because coming in, like Texas A&M, I don't think, were they ranked? What was Texas A&M?
Texas A&M was ranked for the season. I don't remember what, but they were ranked.
Okay.
Right.
But preseason, I have those numbers too. I can get those in a second.
Yeah. Generally, and Miami was like, what, 10 or 9 or 10? Generally, though, Notre Dame just has a lane. They don't have to win those early season games. And they don't win those early season games. Then they just get to storm through the NC States of the world. And that's going to be every year because they're never going to be in a conference. You know how SEC doesn't want 9 conference games? Like Notre Dame never has to worry about that.
Well, they're going to at SEC.
Before the season,
they agreed, right?
Before the season, Penn State was 25, Notre Dame was 34.
All right, so there's not that much of a crazy difference. But now that you actually see what these teams are like, preseason rankings are actually BS. Like, nobody knows. Texas was number 1. Penn State was number 2.
We totally see this differently. I think Notre Dame is always going to have a good path because there's some real built-in advantages there.
But this is where I'll argue, I think Penn State also has a really good path. I don't know if that's the differentiator because I think Penn State has a schedule that you got to play Oregon, you got to play either Michigan or Ohio State one year. I don't know.
Yeah, Ohio State I believe is one of the annual games. Manny maybe to correct me on that.
And then it's either Michigan or Oregon. And you cycle through.
Right. You might not get either of them in a year. Like next year they have neither.
Yeah, just Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But then again, the Big Ten seems like they're ascending a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like if you're Notre Dame, we've been talking about all year. Like if you're anywhere close, they're going to put you into the 12-team playoff.
I have a question for you, Pearl. Do you feel like though, even though the schedule, I agree with you. I think Notre Dame's schedule is generally easier. But do you think that the college football playoff will adjust for that? Because you mentioned that earlier that they may look at this and say, you know what, Notre Dame, you're getting an easy road here. We're going to start judging you differently.
Yeah, well, Maggie and I have been debating that all year. Well, and you said early on it doesn't matter. Like Notre Dame's in.
I did think that. Yeah, I think because of the brand. But I would say the same thing about Penn State. If Penn State was just a 2-loss team, and Notre Dame was a 2-loss team, I think they both enjoy the same kind of privileges, if you will. I think they both are TV polls. I think they're both national brands. Like I think that they're swimming in the same water.
Yeah, I agree with they're swimming in the same water. I would just put Penn State a notch below Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame is Notre Dame. They're a massive national draw. I mean, if Notre Dame can even sniff the college football playoff, I think most people think they're in.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I know we're on in South Bend. I'm curious if anyone's nervous. I mean, you got a big game this weekend. I'm excited about this. I feel like a lot of NFL scouts obviously are going to be tuned into this game with CJ Carr and Jordan Maeva. Maeva. I've heard it both ways.
By the way, Penn State is 99, right? They got the number 1 team and the number 3 team coming up in the next 3 weeks. So
yay.
That will go way, way up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do it. Do they do it with previous, or I guess it's previous? So you're right. So I guess they would. That should skyrocket in theory, assuming they do it that way.
And they had played UCLA, who had no wins, and they lost that game. Yeah, I mean it's hard to judge Penn State right now because they just got their coach fired. But I agree. Like if Penn State has 2 losses, they will always get the edge. But I even think Notre Dame could go in with 3. Like they love them some Notre Dame.
If Marcus Freeman leaves Notre Dame, the Notre Dame brand is dead. You gotta be real, and it's crazy because they have actually been really, really great. I would argue for the last 10 years.
Why Kelly had him ranked all the time,
and he left. If Notre Dame's about championships, like Perloff said it, like I think that they're the top. Them in Alabama, right? We think of brands. If you have coaches that are just leaving, not I'm on the hot seat or they're trying to get me out of here. They're just looking at a different job and saying that job is better for whatever reason. They leave Notre Dame. The Notre Dame is never going to be what it once was. Ever. Yeah, but that dream is dead.
But don't you think there's no way Marcus Freeman is leaving? That's why it's a big swing.
I don't know. I mean, the door's open, right?
Show bet on that one.
Well,
oh my God, listen, I'm so confident he will not go.
He was in the national championship game last year. Like, the only reason why he would want to leave is because he feels like he's not getting something that he needs at Notre Dame. Whether you think the recruiting stuff has been relaxed, or there's also like this. Not there's not a code of conduct at Penn State, but maybe a little more rigorous one at Notre Dame. Whatever that other stuff that's kind of unique to each university.
Yeah, but also too, he's got these amazing all-time classes coming in, right? So you don't want to just get those guys and leave them.
I know, but do you ever even really have a guy? You don't have a guy until he's literally lining up for you along one of your lines of scrimmage.
But their
It's just
classes,
it's so fluid now all the time.
I don't know.
Because of the transfer portal.
It just seems like their recruit classes are going long and deep, and they're star-studded. Not star-studded, but they're just really talented. I don't know. Yeah, come on. It's Notre Dame, guys. He can't do this. And I won't let him if he wants to leave.
What do you care?
I just feel like it's just Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame seem like such a great marriage for him to take the money at Penn State. It just doesn't make any sense. The only way I'd give Marcus Freeman an out was if he wanted to go to his alma mater. Because once in a while, I guess that could be a pull. But come on, leave Notre Dame for Penn State. Is there some kind of pull on that? I think that big swing feels too big for me. I like big swings for Penn State. That's great. But this one, come on, not really.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, lots more to do, including we will have the Maggie Perloff King of the Mountain, top of the hour. We're looking for the greatest NFL team of all time. And today, the 1984 San Francisco 49ers, who have been the King of the Mountain for 4 weeks in a row.
So that's like a month.
Take on the 1986 New York Giants.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is going to be close. But we'll get into all of our reasoning for that in just a little bit. Also, we have some Tua sound for you. So much to do in a big Thursday night game tonight between the Steelers and the Bengals. It's Maggie and Perloff Show.
All right, Maggie, there's a lot to go to on Prize Picks tonight. You can go with Aaron Rodgers, 215.5 passing yards, or DK Metcalf, 64.5 receiving yards. All you do, go to Prize Picks, pick more or less on their projection, and if you're right, you get paid. Right now, new users get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. So simple to use. Just pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stat projections, anything from TDs to threes to soccer touches. And if you're right, you could win big.
I mean, how anybody is not looking at Vlad Guerrero Jr., 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs after what we saw, the offensive explosion last night for Toronto. I think Vladdy's going to keep that going, and I will put that with a little Aaron Rodgers. Swiss cheese defense for the Cincinnati Bengals. What'd you say, 215.5 passing yards?
Yep.
A little bit rich maybe for Rodgers in this offense, but I'm going to go more than on Rodgers as well. And this is why it's so fun to play on Prize Picks, because you can have all these unique combinations. All you got to do is download the Prize Picks app and just play around with the app a little bit for yourself. Perloff and I are obsessed with this, and if you happen to live in California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, or 40 other states in our amazing country, well, then Prize Picks is open for you. All you got to do, download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code M&P to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Trivia question for everybody. But
Let's go.
Should I do it now or should I save it? Let's save it for a second. I'm going to save it for a second. It has to do
75% chance you forgot that you teased us and you never get back to it.
Someone remind me. You got two guys on the other side of the glass over here today. Someone write it down. You're telling me that this is not planned, and you're telling me that you both purchased these sweatshirts. If you want to watch the show, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network are at Maggie Gray on X. EJ and Manny are both wearing the identical sweatshirt today. And it's random. It's a Gatorade sweatshirt. It's as green as green can be, and it just says Gatorade on the front. It's clearly a promotional sweatshirt. You guys got these sweatshirts for free. Gatorade must have sent them to me and Perloff, and you guys intercepted the package.
No, I don't think so. It looks vintage because EJ's got some numbers on his sleeve.
So does Manny. It says 1965. That's when they invented Gatorade.
Okay.
So we're talking about Billy Napier's on the hot seat.
But I don't
There's no
remember
chance
a
you guys
Gatorade
purchased
package
these
coming in.
sweatshirts.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
You think Gatorade sent us losers packages?
No, I think they sent them to us. I think they sent it to me and Perloff, and you guys intercepted the package. Why would you buy a sweatshirt that says Gatorade on the front?
Because we look fly, girl. That's why.
Doth protest too much, Manny. I think you guys got promotional sweatshirts and you happen to be wearing them the same day. It's okay. You can have them.
Yeah, Gatorade promoted them and we bought them.
That's what happened. This is why I can't send Manny any fly stuff anymore, man.
What?
I'm
sent this. I sent this to you.
No.
Boogie, dude, Boogie Fland was the cover athlete of this. He was the male model. I covered him. I was the one who said, look, Boogie has this cool sweater that's about to drop with Gatorade and Mitchell and Ness. I had it first.
Wait a minute. So
receipts.
This is a college basketball player, Boogie Fland, obviously, who Manny covered in high school. He wore this, and now you guys both bought it?
He was the model for it. When Gatorade and Mitchell and Ness announced this collab, he was one of the models that had this green sweater.
This timeline is not correct.
No,
so
your timeline is
someone
wrong.
is treading on someone's style. By the way, you guys dress similar a lot because you both wear Knicks stuff constantly.
I mean, we're also New York City kids.
Yeah,
right.
You look similar. All right, I guess I believe you, but I don't really. I still think it looks like a.
Did you get the bottle? Did you get the bottle?
It's throwback.
We should have brought the bottle. The bottle is lucky.
It came with an old school bottle. That was pretty hard.
Yeah.
Pearl, what do you think?
No, I definitely think that they shop at the same websites and definitely would buy the same
Mitchell and
sweatshirt.
Billy shops at the same website too. Billy, when he's not working here, when he's just finagling on the internet, he's on MichelinS.com because we look fly.
EJ and I go to this one website, Roots of Flight, too, that has amazing stuff. A lot of Ken Griffey stuff randomly. They sign deals with the single coolest athletes of all time. And I have to be careful because I'm afraid. But the worst was I wore the same sweatshirt as Peter Schwartz. Who did updates yesterday. I swear to God.
Tell us what you really
think. You know what? That's kind of the same sweater that they wore as well, the same color that
Actually,
CeeLo has on right now.
Yeah, it was kind of like what you're wearing today.
Yeah, sorry, CeeLo. But it's funny. I went around the office. I was telling people that. I told, for example, our buddy Sal Licata over at WFA, he's like, dude, I'm so sorry. He looked at me like I had lost something important.
Tequila.
Like, yeah, it was. You don't want to dress like Schwartz around here.
I mean, look, a hoodie's a hoodie. It's just when it's the same day and
same color
because of his stature. Not that you were in the same size, but it's like
no, it wasn't good.
You'd almost think it's he needs like a separate line of.
Yeah, my girth is rather large.
Yeah, it's the big and tall store.
Man.
Yeah.
He also had the worst excuse for why he was wearing the sweater. He was like, "There's too much white fuzz on my." Well, he had a awesome Back to the Future T-shirt underneath.
Yeah, he did.
Awesome.
Schwartz?
He's like,
yep.
Yeah, he's like, well, the problem was I got white fuzz on it, so I can't be on camera. When there's no, I'm watching the stream, you can't see anything. It just
Pico
looks
de
like a regular cool T-shirt.
Anyway.
Was the white fuzz from the sweatshirt or sweater?
You guys should take a picture together. Manny and EJ, you're both wearing the exact same sweatshirt. It's as green as Kermit the Frog, a little
Sean
darker.
Gilgis Alexander.
Anyway.
It is very cool. It's got a vintage feel.
It's a good looking sweatshirt, but whether they took it from you guys or not, the fact that they're wearing it on the same day is a little suspicious.
Well, we're all kind of in sync around here.
You know what's annoying too is that the only reason why I'm wearing it today and not earlier this week is because I didn't know the package came in. I got a reminder from my building yesterday being like, oh, you have a package downstairs. I was like, oh, I guess it did show up.
Yeah.
Because 99% of the packages we get are Andrea because she's buying stuff from Amazon 100 times. So I just ignore it. I'm like, I know this package is not for me. But one of them was. So it was like, oh, this has been here for 2 days. So I only opened it yesterday because I...
So you think that proves you saw it first? I can't do this anymore.
No, but hold on. You just got it this week and opened it yesterday. Manny, when did you receive
I got
yours?
it on, what's today? Thursday. I got it on Tuesday. Had it in the wash yesterday, so that's why I'm wearing it today.
Two of them couldn't wait. Oh,
wow.
It came. Let me hurry up and wear it.
Man, good for you. I don't. Well, there's certain things I don't wash before I wear it.
I bought it the second that it dropped. He didn't mention anything about the drop, so that I figured, oh, EJ must have forgotten about the drop, so I'm just gonna buy this, and it's gonna be my little secret.
I forgot to drop, but then I bought it because there was limited. I think there was like 4 left when I bought this joint.
At the Dan Patrick Show, we would get these awesome bags of swag from different clothing makers, and then we would look like the scene out of Goodfellas where they're all wearing the same clothes that fell off the back of the same truck.
Yep.
It was so embarrassing. We would come in. We had to actually have a system. Do not wear the same swag on the same day.
You bring a backup sweatshirt?
Yeah, and I'm sure that happened at Sports Illustrated too. Like you couldn't, be free stuff in this industry. When you get free stuff, you wear it the next day, and it's embarrassing as all get out.
That's why when you first said it came for you guys, and stuff gets put out in the newsroom on both sides, network and local and WFAN, and it is a free for all.
You got to be careful though. You got to coordinate with your friends.
Yes, 100%. But I'm saying stuff gets put out, and it can come from anywhere, any size, any type of clothing, and very rarely. I would say within a couple of hours, it's usually gone.
And by the way, I knew it wasn't swag because I know the Gatorade swag like the back of my hand. I used to know a PR guy at Gatorade. Yeah. They have, they always give the water bottle, whereas Old Spice always gives the red T-shirt. Like there's certain things like I didn't know that. If Gatorade had a sweatshirt they were giving out, I would know about it.
Perloff would have been wearing it on Monday in your face, everybody.
You know who used to be really good? Adidas used to give out Derrick Rose wear, and you would go to a media event and everybody was wearing some sort of Derrick Rose sweatshirt. I was like, oh, come on, guys.
By the way, looking at my DMs, it's very clear that I'm the one who sent him this collection.
Okay. Speaking of Adidas, there was a rumor. I think it got shot down. It was a report by someone, I think, out of West Virginia, and then it got shut down by Penn State that James Franklin, the decision to fire him, actually came from Adidas.
I did see that.
That the shoe company had a hand in this because they're flipping from a Nike school to an Adidas school.
It was kind of weird that every single person in the industry wanted to get out that this thing was obviously false. That almost makes me more suspicious. Why are y'all so invested in whether or not Adidas fired this guy? Who cares?
Well, also the sneaker companies we know are beyond influential
They're
in the
definitely
NBA.
influential in basketball for
No
sure.
doubt.
So I mean, I'm not saying
Guys
it's
went
true
to
or not
jail
true.
over these sneaker companies.
For sure, and it could be wrong. I
College
just thought it was strange. It was like if you had a blue check mark and you worked in college football, you were like obligated to make sure to say that this thing was not true about Adidas and James Franklin.
So you guys think it was true based on that? I mean,
it rose my suspicions.
Well, that's Adidas. Did Adidas make James Franklin lose to UCLA?
Question:
Did they have a hand in that
They've
one?
been secretly
That
pumping up
seems like-
Jerry Neuheisel.
Did Adidas send stuff to Maggie Perloff that Manny and I are going to steal? That's the question.
I think UCLA is an Adidas
They
school.
might be.
Yeah, they definitely
They
were
are,
at some
actually.
point. Yeah.
The fix is in. All right, CeeLo's got everything else going on today.
Oh, yeah. Progressive Commercial Insurance protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Well, it took a couple of games, but the Blue Jays certainly found their offense in a big way last night in Seattle.
Kirby bounced back from a tough third for a nice fourth. We'll see what he has here in the fifth. His pitch.
Oh, man.
Vladdy hits it high in deep center field. Moving back, Rodriguez at the warning track. Leaps at the fence. Did he get it? He did not. It's gone. Home run. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And it's 7-2 Blue Jays in the fifth.
Blue Jays radio with the call, part of a 4-hit game for Vladdy Jr. 5 homers in all for the Jays as they roll past the Mariners 13-4 to get on the board in the ALCS. Though Seattle still leads the series 2-1. You get Game 4 tonight at 8:33 Eastern. Prior to that, it's Game 3 of the NLCS from L.A. with the Dodgers going for a 3-0 series lead on the Brewers. First pitch for that one shortly after 6 Eastern. Little more from Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa doing an about-face on public criticism of some of his teammates following the Dolphins' loss to the Chargers this past weekend, which dropped Miami to 1-5.
I've made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. You know, I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it. They know my heart. They know that the intent was right.
However,
no matter the intent, you know, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, you know, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of questions for the guys on our team.
Which obviously they've had to answer the last few days. And Mike McDaniel saying the comments were misguided. A lot of players that didn't want to comment on it. So you've got a lot of stuff going on in-house there with the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's so easy to go to the media. But Void of Silence sounds like a bad sequel. It's like Death Killer, Void of Silence.
I eat people. Oh, Manny's a cannibalist. Oh, how dare you guys construe my words like that?
The Void of Silence.
Exactly.
So the 1-5 Dolphins are prepping for the 1-5 Browns. Cleveland starts at the season as head coach Kevin Stefanski in the public crosshairs, we'll say, and he was asked how he deals with outside noise.
I don't listen to it. It's probably the easiest way. I grew up in Philly. I was a longtime listener of 610 WIP, so I understand the media role, and I understand, you know, that for our fans, that's an important part of our interest in this game. But I also know in my chair that I'm currently sitting in that you can't listen to that type of stuff.
Man, a shout out for WIP.
Yeah.
I actually just said to Perloff,
Yeah.
did I not say this
I
last
was wondering
hour?
why is that why you said it?
No, I had no idea. This is totally just a coincidence.
Oh, my
I
God.
literally said to Perloff 2 breaks ago, I always forget that Kevin Stefanski's dad is Ed Stefanski, who's the former GM of the 76ers.
Yeah.
No wonder he didn't like listening to WIP. Stefanski was getting it from all angles. Imagine Howard Eskin on Ed Stefanski. That's not a fair fight. Throw in the towel.
Yeah, no, I think Ed Stefanski was pretty good. Didn't he jump around on different teams?
He might have been there during the Doug Collins at maybe the beginning before Hinkie.
He was around
before
a lot.
the process, right before the process.
Yeah, I
Hinkie,
mean,
what a
the funny
legend.
thing is, I feel like this Cleveland-Miami game, like, do you want to win that game or do you want to draft a quarterback? Like, I feel like both teams, Cleveland's in tank mode. They just traded Joe Flacco for a 5th-round pick. It's an interesting, I was actually thinking, well, if Tua wins this game, is everybody going to be like, oh, okay, nice job, you bounce back? Or do you actually want to lose this game because you need a quarterback? That's a must-lose game. I'm sorry.
Can I interest you in a 0-0 tie?
Well, if
You
Dylan
might-
Gabriel
possible.
if Dylan Gabriel throws 52 passes, I think we're going to know what's going to happen. I don't think the Browns can win that way. They'll have to win with their defense, but you're saying they want to lose.
I mean, I think the Browns are telling you in many ways that it's not about this year, right? It's
Yeah,
about,
definitely.
Whereas the Miami, everybody's gone. So they'll probably they want to tank. They obviously want to draft a quarterback, but they need to save their jobs. It's one of those weird situations.
Yeah, and I don't trust either ownership group that even no matter First of all, Mike McDaniel's way more embattled. Maybe Kevin Stefanski has like a little bit of a longer timeline.
No, I think they secretly made a deal with Stefanski. We're going to give you another year and let you develop the next quarterback.
So don't be afraid to lose, is what you're essentially saying?
I mean, they traded Kenny Pickett away. They traded Joe Flacco, and they didn't sign a quarterback this offseason. They cheaped out. I don't know. I think that don't you get the sense that they like Stefanski there?
Well, they cheaped out because they're paying Deshaun Watson all that money.
That's
right? And
great
so
point.
They kind of have a similar profile because the Dolphins are paying Tua an ungodly amount also, and they don't have an easy way to get out of that, just like the Browns don't have an easy way to get out of Deshaun.
Well, I think they'll have Tua on the team, and if there's a quarterback available, they'll jump all over him.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Can you have Tua as the air quotes mentor for a young quarterback?
Absolutely not.
I would say no.
He has shown zero. Whatever you think a mentor is supposed to be, he's shown zero of that.
And Perloff, you always say that's overrated, but I'm just saying, like, Tua, can you have him as your backup /
Tua's 27. I mean, it's not like he's like a set. You know,
Is he
he's
really
just a
only
kid.
27?
He's a
Wow.
kid. Like, what's the
Feels
difference?
like he's been around
No,
forever.
then,
I
do,
mean,
you
the guy.
do you have to get rid of him then if you draft a quarterback #1 overall?
Well,
And
I
do
mean,
the
you
Russell
might
Wilson
take that
thing?
Russell. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier is 24, so it's not like there's like he's going to mentor whoever comes in that much. I think Tua is, by the way, like, yeah. I mean, we're painting him as it seems like kind of a laid back, not super
laid back. He said he was going to fight Ryan Clark a couple years ago.
Tua Tagovailoa, I feel like he's the kind of low impact guy in the locker room. I don't think he's going to be
low
a
impact
problem.
on the field too.
Just blew up the locker room a couple days ago. What do you mean low impact?
Tua's a Hawaiian. Like I think
Why do
Tua's
you
like
keep using that thing? That Hawaiian people can't
He's
be.
a big for Hawaiian. Like aloha.
back. Yeah,
No, I think
Like he's in the locker room with a ukulele and flip flops on. I think he's at the podium saying no one's showing up to a players only
This guy
meeting.
said
With a
that-
coconut bra?
This guy-
Yeah.
He said he grew up in a household where it was the Bible or the belt. You think that guy is low key?
Well, why do you think nobody showed up at the players meeting? Because they're like, Tua.
They don't want to hear the ukulele,
He's
that's
busy
why.
playing his ukulele. Yeah, like I don't think Tua is like, when I think of problematic, like Aaron Rodgers being in the locker room, I could see him having a bad influence. But Tua is very low key. I don't think he'd be a problem.
Tua's tuning that damn ukulele again.
Tua, like you think like Tua's
By the way,
like
can we
coming
lean
in,
into any more
Tua's
stereotypes?
coming in every day in the locker room and yelling at people? No way.
No, but you can still be negatively impacting when guys have to answer for you standing at the podium and saying no one's showing up at the meeting.
He said Tyreek Hill's a bum. He said my players have no leadership and nobody wants to show up. He said,
but
Ryan
that's
Clark, you got a problem with me, I'll fight you. I mean, he may be from Hawaii, but I think he's very much in the Nick Saban cut cloth where he is hardcore. He's
Good morning,
a very
Honolulu.
intense competitor.
God, I would totally disagree. I'll bet you in that Dolphins locker room, like when like guys are big presences, I'd be shocked if Tua was a massive presence.
Yeah. No offense to Tua, I would take Ryan Clark in that fight in a heartbeat.
I mean, I think like you're in a locker room with Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. You think anyone was noticing Tua Tagovailoa?
They might not take him seriously, but I think he takes himself seriously. Is my point.
But I think he's quiet though. I really do. I think he's a kind of like I don't think and that you can see at the press conference. He's not comfortable with the mic in front of him.
What? He's been talking nonstop for the last 6
Look
months.
at him. Like you think honestly, like
Look at
the
him, he's on our
report was
TV.
like this,
He's
like
talking
Jalen
again on
Ramsey.
the TV. He's right here.
Yeah, because he has a press conference. Like he's not like he doesn't have a booming voice right
I don't
now.
see
Like
Justin Fields' press conferences on it everywhere. I mean, this guy is making headlines every week. This guy, he went to Alabama. Tua is not some wallflower.
I mean, listen, I've been around Tua like 3 or 4 times. Like, you think he's Jalen Ramsey? I mean, I do not see him like that at all. I think he's definitely one of the more low key quarterbacks in the NFL.
I think this is not the right week, maybe, to make the
he went after Brian
the
Flores.
case that
Do you guys
he's
understand what
low-key.
happens in the mic in front of the press conference? That's 1% of what a player is. Like the real stuff happens behind the scenes. That's like, and it's a pretty much often a false presentation of who he is. Like in a locker room, like where did the reports say Ramsey and Hill are corrupting all the young players? That was what everyone was saying about the Dolphins, right? So they got rid of Ramsey, and Hill is injured. Like,
Tua's made more headlines than Aaron Rodgers this year. Who's this Tua Tagovailoa you're speaking of that's recent?
Yeah, but making headlines in front of the mic, but like we're talking about the locker room, like the real stuff, nothing to do with the press
He's doing
conference.
podcasts making headlines.
Tua? Oh my God, I see him way differently than you guys.
Interesting. Why don't we put a poll question up? Do you consider Tua Tagovailoa low key? What is that? What you said? Low key.
Yeah. He's definitely like not a huge personality.
CeeLo, we got time for one more little one.
Sure. Actually, just to circle back on this whole Dolphins-Browns game, just because you mentioned Dylan Gabriel, I actually had this written in. So with Tua and Dylan Gabriel. It'll be the first all-lefty quarterback matchup in 19 years. So September 2006, you had Michael Vick and the Falcons facing the Bucks. Can you name the Bucks starting quarterback?
Jeff Garcia.
No.
Sean King wasn't a lefty?
No, he's
I don't
righty,
remember.
right?
I don't.
Wait.
None of those people we named were lefty.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if Sean King may have been a lefty.
So what year
Vick
was
and
it?
the Falcons, September 2006. They played the Bucks.
Lefty. Well, we missed Tyler Palco. And
Ron Guidry.
Let's see if I
Kellen Moore?
can provide a bit of a hint.
Not Kellen Moore.
No, not Kellen Moore. This gentleman comes from a lineage of quarterbacks.
Oh, was it Chris Sims?
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Actually, we're going to be talking about Phil Sims at the top of the hour because the Maggie Perloff King of the Mountain, CeeLo, perfect segue, has the 84 49ers matching up against the 86 New York Giants.
Perfect.
Who gets to be King of the Mountain as we look for the greatest NFL team of all time?
So first in 19 years, and then we get one again next week, most likely, because you got the Falcons and the Dolphins. So Penix Jr. and
Nice.
Tua, unless someone gets hurt. So 19 years and then 7 days.
It's the year of the Southpaw.
Aren't you a lefty?
Not a thrower. Certain things lefty, not a thrower.
Oh, you're amphibious.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Very good.
CeeLo, thank you. I promised a trivia question. That was a really good one. I'm going to go to baseball. I'll give you the trivia question. No Googling.
Ron Guidry.
No, Gator Guidry's come up a couple of times this week. I got this one for you guys. So CeeLo mentioned it first hour that Vlad Guerrero was one triple away.
Triple short of the cycle.
And Derek Jeter said only one other person has ever done it.
You looked it up.
A
I did
postseason
not.
hitting for the cycle. No Googling, everyone. Think about it. Baseball's been around for 120 plus years.
Been longer than oxygen's been around.
Who was the only person who has ever hit a postseason cycle? Hit for the cycle in the postseason.
Is it at least a name we'll know?
No hints.
All right.
No hints.
It better not be somebody like Toe Jam
That's what I mean.
Williams
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Listen, no hints.
Curly Magoo.
Could be here a while.
Who's the only baseball player ever in the history of that sport to hit for the cycle in the postseason? 888-710-4ISN. Don't look it up. Try to do it off the top of your head. Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome to your life, and also the Maggie Perloff Show. I left you in the last break with a trivia question. I said, please don't Google it. Like, look it up, just to try to think about it. There's only been one person ever in the history of baseball who's ever hit for the cycle in the postseason. Does anyone have any idea who this person is? And I wouldn't give you any hints, but maybe I'll give you a few now.
Can you give us like a two-decade span or something?
Yeah, because there's such a long history of baseball.
Yeah.
Like my immediate thought was somebody in the great Yankees teams because they had so many playoff games. So that's where I went. So like DiMaggio or Yogi or Mickey Mantle or something.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're talking about that era or the 90s.
Okay. I went to the 50s Yankees, but I don't know. There's such a long time.
All right, I'm going to give you, it's actually been a lot more recent than that. It's happened within the last decade.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The guy hit for the cycle.
My Lou Brock guess is not going to happen.
And actually, Manny, I'll go a step further. It happened against your team.
Oh, well, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Well,
happened against the Yankees.
Yeah.
All right. Happened against the Yankees in the last 10 years.
All right, guys.
Carlos Correa.
No, it was a Red Sox.
Oh. It was a Red Sox. It was a Red Sox in the last 10 years. It was a Red Sox.
I'll give it to you now. Brock Holt.
Oh.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Brock Holt, of all the people, like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams didn't play a lot in the postseason. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Barry Bonds. Nobody has ever hit for the cycle in the postseason until Brock Holt did it. Red Sox against the Yankees, Game 3, 2018 ALDS. The Red Sox beat the Yankees 16-1 in a game at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that's why I
They
don't
won the
remember.
series 3-1. Holt singled to center in the fourth inning, tripled to right in the same inning as the Red Sox batted around. Then he hit a ground rule double in the top of the eighth. Got another at bat in the ninth where he hit a home run
At
to complete
Fenway?
the cycle.
Was that at Fenway or Yankee Stadium?
I'd be at Fenway.
I would imagine.
That getting triples at Yankee Stadium is damn near impossible.
Finished the game 4 for 6 with 5 ribbies, 3-run score.
Good Lord, who was pitching?
And it was the second cycle of his major league
I'm
career.
about to crash out over a game that happened 7 years ago. Good heavens.
It's probably Garrett Cole against
Carl
the Red Sox.
Pavano was on the mound. They brought him back.
Stop it.
Anyway, Brock Holt, Pearl, is your answer to that trivia question.
I'm not a cycle guy. I know we've had this debate before. I find it obviously impressive, but we spent a whole show. What's more impressive, hitting 4 homers in a game or a cycle? To me, it's 4 homers.
4
by far.
yeah.
But a lot of people are like, the cycle is kind of like a magical thing in baseball lore.
Yeah, I mean, if you're someone who likes the romanticism of baseball, I think that the cycle is just such a unique thing. You know, you can home runs obviously are their own animal, but it's always like you would think it would have been one of the great hitters of all time that would have hit for the cycle here, and instead it's Brock Holt. If that's not baseball, like to me, that's quintessential. Anyway,
I would definitely put no hitter over a cycle, right?
I don't think so. No hitters are kind of mad now.
Yeah, or no hitter faded so much that you got to go no hitter over a cycle. That's crazy to go all 9 innings without giving a hit,
especially in today's game.
How about this? Brock Holt never played a full season again after 2018. Bounced around to the Brewers, the Nationals, Texas Rangers, signed a minor league deal with the Braves, and then retired in 2022.
And we let that guy make history.
All right. 350 plus cycles, 21 4-home run games. Or at least 21 players have done it.
Yeah, but 3 of them happened this year or something like that, right?
I know. Yeah, in the new game, like all these things are different.
Anyway, so that was your little trivia question. I got another trivia question for you guys later on in the show. I'm just full of them today. Meanwhile, Perloff and I, we're talking about this. This kind of weird back and forth now between, of all people, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and Troy Aikman, because of how critical Aikman was of the Bears quarterback on Monday Night Football. Obviously, Bears ended up winning the game, so they kind of got the last laugh, but Aikman was, pretty harsh in the criticism. Early on, he said Caleb basically couldn't find anybody, and then later in the game kind of implied that there were some easy throws and that this was not this amazing comeback effort by the Bears. And so we found out yesterday that Caleb Williams was supposed to have a call with Troy Aikman before the game, and he got delayed at the facility watching film and stuff like that, so didn't call him until many hours later, and Troy didn't pick up the call. So people are speculating whether or not Aikman was actually holding some kind of personal grudge because it looked like Caleb blew him off.
Yeah, I mean, Troy Aikman is human. If the quarterback blows him off, all right, you're a very good journalist, Maggie, but if somebody blows off an interview with him, in your back of your mind, you think subconsciously you might criticize his play more on Sunday?
Listen, I once waited, and I'm not even joking around. I have a witness who I could text right now, and he'll back me up. I once waited 7 hours for Carmelo Anthony to show up to an interview. 7 hours.
Then when he went.
And we did a fine interview. It was fine. I didn't hold it against him. I mean, I wasn't happy about it, but I didn't take it out on him.
What if he didn't show up at all? And then he went 3 for 12 the next night. Would you have gone after him?
Probably did.
But Caleb did eventually call Aikman. I don't know. It's not at that point. Do you even send a courtesy text? Hey, I'm so backed up. If anyone could understand having to do extra film study, obviously Troy Aikman gets the pressures of the position. Should he have sent a text message? Hey, I'm running late.
Well, I mean, listen, it's preparing for a game is huge. I think Troy should understand that. I don't know how these things work if you blow it off. I do think a guy like Troy Aikman, who's so successful, that would bruise his ego if he was blown off by a young quarterback. So it is easily plausible to me that would affect his broadcasting. Now, you pointed out Troy is often quite critical of quarterbacks. Like, he is the one broadcaster who gives them, really says honest criticism about them. But most other guys are pretty nice. And Caleb was erratic, but that's a Caleb Williams experience. He'll miss 3 throws and then I'll have a beautiful throw.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know. I've often felt, wow, Troy is way too harsh on this quarterback. Like, yeah, he might not be Troy Aikman, but he's good enough. Like, Troy, not everybody is Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's funny because Chris Collinsworth has the opposite, right? When it's Patrick Mahomes or something, it's like he's melting down in the booth, like, oh my God, Mahomes, and
right.
Aikman's the opposite.
Well, Troy will go, if there's a middling quarterback, Troy will just murder him. Like, which is it's so funny. Troy just has zero you-know-whats to give about
I
a
like
bad
it.
quarterback play.
I mean,
yeah,
I
he's
like
good.
it
Troy's top of the mountain. He's a great analyst.
I like Chris Collinsworth too, and I think they're both really good. They're both at the top of the profession, no doubt about it. But I will take the honest criticism, even if at times it feels a little over the top. I like that Brady's starting to criticize people. I just don't think it should be Cooper Rush.
I feel great.
Because sometimes Collinsworth can go a little too over the top. We know they're all good.
Here's a guy.
You mean Chris Collinsworth likes Patrick Mahomes? I wasn't aware of that.
I wasn't sure if they were related. I don't even think people like their family that much. 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, we will do Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain, and a special guest is going to join us.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
We get back to the coaching carousel in college football in just a moment. Got a Thursday night game for you as well. You got the Steelers visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. But Perloff, it is Thursday at this time, which means it's time for the King of the Mountain.
Who is the King of the Mountain? Maggie and Perloff search for the greatest NFL team of all time.
Pearl, believe it or not, the 1984 San Francisco 49ers have held the spot of King of the Mountain for 4 weeks in a row. We've been pairing up great teams of all time randomly up against each other, making a case for both. You guys vote as the audience, and whoever gets the most votes remains or moves on as King of the Mountain. And it started with the 1972 Dolphins. The 84 49ers took them out, and now it's been the 49ers world. We're all living in it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a great team. It's going to take a real powerhouse to knock them down.
Yeah, well, it looks like we may have that powerhouse this week. So first, let's go back to the 84 Niners. Awesome team. First team ever to win 15 games in a season.
Dan Marino's year turned into Joe Montana's day. And the San Francisco 49ers became the first team in NFL history to win 18 games in a single season. They were not only champions of the world, but masters of the game.
We're just not writing copy like that anymore. You know?
Oh, NFL films, the best.
So good. Obviously, that was a 49er team that beat Dan Marino, Miami, in the Super Bowl. They were the number 2 offense that year, the number 1 defense. As I said, first team to win 15 regular season games, 5 Hall of Famers from that team, 3 of them players. Today, they go up against a juggernaut, the 1986 New York Giants.
As we're getting ready for the Super Bowl, Bill Parcells comes out of his office, and he's got a big chart of the Rose Bowl. He's got a tripod. He puts the chart up on the tripod, and he looks at me. He said, look, these are the sections that our fans will be in. When you come running out of that tunnel, here's where they'll be. Take that towel, get them revved up, because we want to make it seem like it's Giants Stadium.
Sam's trying to throw in a fitting end to a glorious season, the Giants crushed the Denver Broncos, with Phil Simms' flawless performance earning him the game's MVP award.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
oh,
so
yeah.
That was the voice before of Mark Bavaro talking about Bill Parcells trying to tell him to make it a home game. Bavaro broke his jaw earlier in that season, had to play, never missed a game, played 4 or 5 games with a jaw wired shut. Perloff, he had to drink his cereal out of a straw, they were saying.
They don't not make players like Mark Bavaro anymore.
No,
My
they
memory
don't.
of him as a kid is he would catch a 5-yard pass and break 16 tackles on his way to the end zone. He was the best tight end of his era.
Actually, it's funny. There's a moment where there's a couple different moments from this 86 Giants season, which is, again, going up against the 49ers, and happened against the 86 49ers, where Ronnie Lott's trying to bring down Mark Bavaro and can't do it. And people are like, oh, my gosh, Ronnie Lott's like amazing. How could he not bring down Bavaro? So that was actually an interesting moment. This was a very different team to me, though, from the 84 49ers in terms of vibe. Manny, do you have the song that the 49ers sang? I mean, like, awesome, right? Calling your shot with your own song, and it was like upbeat and kind of groovy. Bill Parcells would never allow a song. He didn't allow Phil Simms to do a commercial before the Super Bowl with John Elway. They wanted to do some company wanted to do a joint commercial, wouldn't let him do it. I think there was a lot of tension actually on this Giants team because Phil Simms and Bill Parcells had a very up and down relationship. And meanwhile, Lawrence Taylor had been like in rehab in the off season before. No joke, thought he could cure himself of a drug addiction simply by playing golf. That's not going to happen. Yeah, this was out of his own words, doing some research last night. So obviously that didn't happen. And, you know, I think there was a lot of tension on this team where it feels like the 49ers just had a very different vibe.
Well, here's the thing about this matchup.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's one of the most famous playoff games of all time. The Giants whooped the Niners 49-3 in the playoffs, almost killed Joe Montana. Then famously, if you've ever Google the SNL skit of Joe Montana talking about his concussion. For some reason, Joe Montana hosted SNL 2 weeks later and had all these really funny jokes about concussions that you could never make today.
Oh, my God.
Like he's like, I don't remember what happened a couple of weeks ago. But so I think people are going to look at that matchup and say the Giants team was better because they beat the 86 Niners. But this whole King of the Mountain exercise, you got to focus on just that year. Yes, the 86 Giants were awesome, but so were the 84 Niners. But I think that's why the Niners will come away with this. People just remember the 80s Niners as a little more consistent.
Yeah, but anytime you put Lawrence Taylor in the conversation.
Yeah, but Joe Montana to counter that.
Yeah, that's true. All right. We promised a special guest as we were doing King of the Mountain, 1984 49ers against the 1986 New York Giants. And who better to take us right to the sidelines, right to the 50-yard line than Peter King, of course, an award-winning sports writer, TV personality, one of our favorites. Peter, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Listen, this is your wheelhouse right here. I mean, all of it's your wheelhouse. But when we're talking about the 86 Giants, first just sort of describe that team and kind of what was the vibe around the 86 Giants.
Well, Maggie, consider this. I started covering the 86 Giants when I was 28 years old. And, or I started, that was in 1985. And they had just turned the corner in 84. Phil Simms had a 4,000-yard passing year, and they had LT. So Parcells had them going. And then in 85, they had a really good year, but lost the Sean Landeta whiff punt game at Soldier Field on a 10-degree wind chill day. And so the next year, they were really primed, 1986. And they had a kind of a magical year, a few huge plays in the middle of the year. But the team itself, what I can tell you about this team is that they had players on it, and Parcells used to call them Paramus Mall parking lot players. If I told them the game on Sunday was in the Paramus Mall parking lot, they'd show up and play without pads.
Wow.
I mean, that is who he had. Jim Burt, McConkey, Simms, Taylor, Harry Carson, Carl Banks. Carl Banks was a gamer. He was a player. And, they had so many of those guys. And George Young, to his credit, he knew the kind of players that Parcells wanted. And he picked a lot of the guys with the same kind of ethos of Simms and Taylor. But those two guys ran the team, ran the locker room along with Harry Carson, and it was a golden time. One last thing. Twice in the time I covered the team, I looked over in the locker room, and there's Richard Nixon. And Richard Nixon was a huge Giants fan, lived in Upper Saddle River in the later years of his life. And I once said to him, "Oh my God, Mr. Nixon, I'm Peter King with Newsday, covered the Giants." And he said, "I wish I had your job." and because, he loved sports, he loved being around the team. And I said, "Well, I can't believe I thought of this." But I said, "Well, I'm glad I didn't have your job." But anyway, it was a great time to be around the Giants, and they just were an indomitable team on the, in spirit and on the field.
Peter, we're doing this King of the Mountain thing. We're doing a weekly sort of great team against great team. And it was 1986. Were you covering the entire NFL at that point, or were you covering just a
Yeah.
So you must have known that Niners team pretty well at that point. What's the character of that team? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in their training camp, I think probably all 4 years that I covered the Giants, because they allowed me to go on the road for like 10 days during training camp. So I left the Giants and I went because they wanted me to cover the NFL. It was a great experience at Newsday. I loved it. And so I remember sitting down in Rockland, California at Sierra College with Joe Montana in their training camp one year. And listen, they were just almost invincible at that time. But I believe that the Giants had the kryptonite for the 49ers, and that is incredibly physical play. And it's not a popular thing to say. It's not a wonderful thing to say at this time, but and I'm not, they didn't have a bounty on Montana or anything like that, but hit Montana, hit him hard, hit him legally, and hit him until, you see him, wincing and having problems. But they really had a good game plan, and they had the talent. They had Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall and Carl Banks on the edges to really put pressure on Montana. And in those years, they had some good fortune against the Niners in the playoffs.
Peter King's joining us, of course, award-winning sports writer, TV personality, author. I mean, does it all. And we're doing our King of the Mountain. Today, the 1986 New York Giants face off against the team that's been the King of the Mountain for 4 weeks in a row. Peter, can I tell you the teams that the 84 Niners have taken out in this exercise so far?
Go ahead, yeah.
The 72 Dolphins.
Yeah.
They took out the 83 Raiders. They took out the 77 Cowboys. And the 99 Rams. We're doing kind of random matchups here.
Holy cow. And I'll tell you what, that Rams team was special.
Yeah.
And that's where for your listeners and viewers right now, that's a team that kind of begins to be in their wheelhouse, I would think. It's 26 years ago. So, a lot of people are driving to work this morning and listening to this, and they're thinking, oh, yeah, the Rams, greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce. That was, that team was really special in the imagination of Mike Martz and Vermeil. But anyway, that's cool.
Yes.
Cool. It's a great idea.
But now do you think pound for pound, do you think the 49ers, the 84 Niners are in jeopardy here with the 86 Giants? As you said, kind of the perfect, like the kryptonite really for the 49ers.
Well, if you think of that rivalry at that time, just remember, the 49ers got the better of the Giants in 1984. That was right before I got there, but they beat them in the regular season and then beat them in the playoffs. But in 85 and 86, think about it. The New York Giants were 3-0 against the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the powerful Niners, and then in 86, on the way to the Super Bowl, they had the incredible divisional 49-3 win over them, and sent Joe Montana packing on a hit by I believe by Jim Burt, might have been Leonard Marshall, I forget, but he got knocked out of the game, and so I have immense respect for those San Francisco teams and obviously for Bill Walsh. But, in 1986, the Giants kind of obliterated the Niners.
Peter, it's funny, in this exercise, there's a nostalgia or a mystique around teams like the 70s Cowboys, the 70s Steelers. I think we think of dynasties as better back then. And I don't know, do you think that's a reality? Because obviously maybe with the salary cap, it is harder to repeat. Do you think that there were super teams in a way that we don't have now in today's game?
Well, you know what happens, Andrew, in my opinion, and I'm in the middle of writing a book, and much of this comes up in that book because I'm writing about my career from 84 to 23, 40 years. I think we tend to get a little bit gauzy and a little bit, very fond reminiscence of eras way back then when we were kids. Oh, nobody would have beaten those Steelers. Oh my God. Those 49er teams, they're the best team there ever was. Well, listen, I just want to tell you one thing about the Niners and I write about this in my book. You're going to love this chapter. 1988, their last championship. They were 6-5 and in mayhem in November of that year. And if you had told anybody with that team after they lose a 3-score lead in Phoenix to the bad Cardinals in November, if you had said that day to any of them that you're 6-5 and you're going to win the Super Bowl this year, they said, you're crazy. This is not our year. And they rebounded. Obviously, it was their year. They ended up winning and all that. But my point is that we tend to think of teams as greater the further away we get from them.
Yeah, though I think those Kansas City Chiefs teams are pretty damn good. I mean, the ones we're watching right now, Peter King is joining us, award-winning sports writer, TV personality. Now we know he's got a new book in the works, so that's exciting. Hope you'll come on with us and talk about it when you get done with it, Peter. Bringing it to present day just for a moment, and thank you for reminiscing about 86. There's actually a great clip of you and Parcells in one of these NFL films, America's Game. Actually, why don't we play it? Let's play it real fast.
I think the Redskins got a very good team. And I got a funny feeling that we're going to meet him somewhere down the road again before the 86 season's over. I just thought we played pretty well today. And where's Peter King? I'm proud of my guys, Peter.
Calling you out at the press conference.
I haven't heard that in years. But what happened is I used to pick the games on Sunday, and I would always pick Washington to beat the Giants because Washington was a tough matchup for the Giants, and they could run the ball very well and good offensive line and all that. And Parcells couldn't believe that I would pick against the team that I covered. But I wanted to try to pick the games the way I saw them. Anyway.
That's great. And we loved it. I wanted to play that for you. Quickly to present day for a couple things really fast. So obviously this has been a disaster year for Baltimore. Everybody's hurt. The long shot now to make the playoffs. I mean, just terrible because of the injuries. And things are kind of turning a little against Buffalo right now, too, with these last two losses. They're in their bye week, though. We'll see how it goes. Peter, is there any chance that these two coaches who have been stalwarts, I mean, Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Sean McDermott has been so influential in the turnaround for Buffalo, obviously, along with Josh Allen, Brandon Beane. Is there any thought that if these two teams wildly underachieve this year, that both of these coaches could be out?
I think I can't really speak for Buffalo. I doubt it in Buffalo, regardless of what happens. But I don't really think, I think it would have to be Harbaugh's decision in Baltimore. Now, I think you should keep one thing in mind in Baltimore. Why are they 1-5? They're 1-5, some poor play early, obviously, but they're 1-5 because they've had the worst spate of injuries of any team in the NFL and against a tough schedule early on. And now you look at the schedule. They got some tough games remaining. The Chicago coming out of the bye next week won't be easy. But just look at their schedule and tell me if the real Baltimore Ravens, can't go 8-3 or 9-2 down the stretch. Just look at their schedule. If Lamar is playing relatively healthy, and I think he will be, and you have everybody other than Justin Madubuike back from injury, or almost everybody back in 10 days. To me, I think one of the things that we do that does a disservice to the season in the NFL is on October 16th, we say Team X is finished for the year. What's going to happen? Are they going to fire this guy? And I absolutely do not believe it's over for the Ravens. Now, who knows? We'll see what happens. As far as the Bills go, I think every team goes through the kind of period that the Buffalo Bills are going through right now. They're too good. The quarterback is too great to play like they did consistently over the last 2 weeks. They will, mark my words, they will come out of this. I guarantee you. This is not a permanent malady. So I also think that the Bills are going to be, I don't want to, whatever the word is, fine. They'll be in the playoffs. They may not win the division. New England is playing, a very easy schedule down the stretch. I mean, that's just the way the schedule falls sometimes. Yep. But they may not win their division. I don't think I'd want to be playing Josh Allen road home or in Nome, Alaska in the playoffs.
Peter, one coach who's definitely struggling, who might end up in your book, Bill Belichick, is struggling in North Carolina. How much damage do you think he can do to his legacy with losing season in North Carolina and a lot of off-the-field stuff as well?
I mean, a little bit, Andrew, but, I try not to be a prisoner of the moment at times like this when Belichick is totally embarrassing himself, obviously. I remember seeing Jerry Rice in Denver Broncos training camp when he was, I don't know, maybe 42 years old. This is last year. And I watched him in practice one day get covered like a glove by a free agent cornerback, rookie cornerback from Bowling Green. And, does anybody, when he's standing, on the podium in Canton, getting his gold jacket and making his Hall of Fame speech, does anybody today think of the really bad last year or so of Jerry Rice? No. Now, this is a little bit different. Belichick's got the whole Jordan Hudson thing and all that. I don't know what'll happen, but I certainly am not going to think he's not a great coach whenever all of this, whether it ends in nightmare or whether it just ends in, a decent team in North Carolina. I won't think of him a lot differently than I think of him now.
Peter, last one from me. And again, thanks for doing this. Great reminiscing about the 86 Giants. That's really cool. And the 84 49ers, which is just awesome. Three kind of surprising, maybe 2.5 surprising things about teams that are either in first place or tied for first place in their division. The fact that Daniel Jones has the Indianapolis Colts in first place in the AFC South, and they look great. Baker Mayfield, maybe less surprising because Tampa's been good, but he's now an MVP candidate and the front runner. And then Sam Darnold, where Seattle is tied for the lead in the NFC West. Do you believe all three of these quarterbacks are going to be a factor come playoff time? Do you believe in the resurgence of these former high picks now on different teams who have kind of resurrected their careers?
Everyone, every single one, I believe. And look, I'm a TV watcher like the other 18 million people who watch NFL games consistently every week. That's all I am. But Baker Mayfield's the 6-week MVP of the NFL. He's phenomenal. He is sticking it up everybody's rear end, including mine. And I didn't think he was going to be this good. And good for him. He's playing fantastic and deserves all the credit that he's being given. Daniel Jones, this is the player, I believe, that he was the year he took the Giants to the playoffs and won a road game in Minnesota. And look, there's a lot of reasons why players fail, and there's a lot of reasons why quarterbacks don't work out. But I want you to think of this, Maggie. Think of all three of these players and think, what do they have in common? And you could even add Mac Jones to it. Mac Jones is on his third team. Daniel Jones is on his third team. Baker Mayfield, I think, is on his fifth team. Sam Darnold, I think, is on his fourth team. And what does that mean? It means that sometimes it's just like Aroldis Chapman in baseball. Sometimes you go through a mediocre period or just an okay period, but you always have a chance because in the NFL, if you're a first-round pick, you're going to get 19 chances. Mm-hmm. And that's what these guys have in common, taking advantage of their chances and believing when no one else does. It reminds me of Boomer Esiason.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. Boomer, when he played, when he was at his peak, he thought he was better than Montana. He thought he was better than Marino. There were times when he actually was. But what I'm saying is that these guys have this adamant belief in themselves, and as long as somebody gives them a chance, and they got an offensive line to block for them, they got a shot.
We're way long, but Maggie had a baseball trivia question I think you're going to get. Can you give it to Peter real quick?
Oh, gosh. I don't want to put Peter on the spot on this one.
I guarantee Peter will get it.
Go ahead.
There's been one player, Peter, in the history of baseball that has hit for the cycle in the postseason. One person has hit for the cycle one time in the playoffs. I'll give you a hint. It happened within the last decade.
His name is Brock Holt.
Look at Peter.
I bet you were at the game. I was thinking maybe. I don't know.
No, I watched the game, and it's look, Brock Holt is the coolest guy, but it's got to have a little bit of asterisk because he hit his home run off of I forget who for the Yankees, a position player.
Oh, no way.
So, he did.
Yeah.
Look up the play-by-play of the game. It might have been whoever, Gio or Shell. I have no clue who it was off. But he hit his home run off a position player. But that is Brock Holt's claim to fame, obviously.
Peter, with the Red Sox trivia,
Yep.
knew we couldn't sneak that one by you. Thank you for doing this. We're excited that you're writing a book about your career. Definitely keep us updated on that. And thank you again for the Giants 49ers stuff. That was fantastic.
All the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. You're right about that.
Oh,
of course he would know.
Of course he would know that.
I know. I loves the Red Sox. Okay, we have so much more to do.
Where's Peter King?
Including, how about Dan Campbell? Not happy with the league for a reason I 100% back the Lions coach on. It's Maggie Perloff.
Proud of my guys, Peter.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Maggie's rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti ain't just holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Was tight, the crowd was loud, the judge went down, ain't no cheers now. Flicks are strained, they said real low, like a punch straight through my radio. Manny Rodriguez sitting third row, with his judge jersey and his heart broke slow. He stood up once, then he sat back down, poured that pain till he couldn't hear the sound. Now he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, talking to ghosts and cussing at the stars. Why'd you take my hero? What did he do? Whiskey on his lips, Yankee tears in his boots. Bartender said, son, it's just a game, but to many it's blood running through his veins. So pour one more shot and leave on the line for the kid who lost hope when we lost 99. Played shortstop in a little league town, swung like Judge, always dreaming big now. Had the poster, had the swing, hell, he even rocked that pinky ring. But the Bronx felt cold when Judge went down, man, he just drifted to another round. Talking like Judge was a brother he knew, swearing he felt that pain too. Now he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, talking to ghosts and cussing at the stars. Why'd you take my hero? What did he do? Whiskey on his lips, Yankee tears at his boots. Bartender said, son, it's just a game, but to many it's blood running through his veins. So pour one more shot and leave on the line for the kid who lost hope when we lost 99. Played shortstop in a little league town. Swung like Judge, always dreaming big now. Had the poster, had the swing. Hell, even rocked that picky ring. But the Bronx felt cold when Judge went down. Man, he just drifted to another round. Talking like Judge was a brother he knew. Swearing he felt that pain too. Maybe tomorrow he'll find his way home. But tonight, that pinstripe heart's alone, and the world just don't feel right. When your hero's down and out for the fight. Yeah, he's blackout drunk in a parking lot bar, praying that rehab ain't too far. Come back soon, Judge, we need you back. Man, he's got no tears left to be had. He don't want pity, don't want no sign, just wants his hero back in that life. So pull one more shot and leave on the line till we rise again with our 99.
.45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Peter King, by the way, may make me change my vote in King of the Mountain, our weekly NFL exercise. He sold those 1986 New York Giants versus the 84 Niners. I mean, he painted the picture of a brutally competitive Giants team.
Proud of my guys, Peter.
Absolutely. And also the fact that, yes, the 84 49ers did beat the Giants that year, but then the Giants kind of smoked the 49ers after that, including in that very famous playoff game in the divisional round. So this one I think is going to be tough. And I think Joe Montana clearly has the star power, but Lawrence Taylor, I think you mentioned him, and I think that gets votes.
Yeah, I mean, both teams were amazing. I think the Niners overall, their legacy was better. So that, and it's important. Like to me, the Niners were just a little bit more transformational than that Giants team, which was amazing.
Yeah, because they were a dynasty. There was just a little more time in between the Giants' 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and
of
also
that era.
And I don't think everyone saw that Giants run coming when LT was there, because Phil Simms and Joe Morris were good, but they're not Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and Roger Craig.
Just to clean something up here. So then we asked Peter King that trivia question that I asked before. Who's the only player in baseball history to ever hit for the cycle in the postseason?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, now we know it's Brock Holt, Manny. And he said that
New listeners every 8 minutes.
Does it not count, or is there an asterisk? Not does not count. Is there an asterisk because when Brock Holt hit the home run, it was a 15-1 drubbing. Red Sox were killing the Yankees, the 2018 LDS. And the fact that Brock Holt hit the home run off of a position player.
Ooh.
Oh.
And Peter was like, I think it was Gio Urshela. Oh, he was close. Austin Romine, the backup catcher.
Oh, of course, yeah. All right.
Does that have an asterisk?
I haven't,
I
I haven't thought about Austin Romine in so long.
I
Forgot
know.
the guy even existed.
I know. I have a signed baseball from him somewhere.
Sometimes guys have trouble generating power off those position players because they throw such soft pitches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that easy to hit a home run. The ball's coming in at 70 miles an hour.
No, those line scores for the position players that pitch usually are not pretty good.
CeeLo's here with us. He's got all the latest. What's up, dude?
All right, speaking of baseball, the Mariners returned home halfway to their first ever World Series appearance, but the visiting Blue Jays certainly woke their bats up.
1-1 pitch. Kirk hits it high and deep right field. Racing back, Robles at the fence, climbs the wall. It is gone! Make it a dozen for the Blue Jays on a 3-run homer from Alejandro Kirk.
That's Blue Jays radio with the call.
Big
One
win
of
for us Mexicans
5
right
home
here.
runs for Toronto on the night as they went on to beat the Mariners 13-4. Vlad Guerrero Jr. went deep as part of a 4-for-4 night at the plate. As we discussed, a triple short of the cycle. Shane Bieber, 6 innings of 2-run ball with 8 strikeouts. So the Jays get on the board in the series. They still trail 2-1. You get Game 4 tonight at 8:33 Eastern. Prior to that, Game 3 of the NLCS. The series shifts to Los Angeles with the Dodgers going for a 3-0 series lead on the Brewers. First pitch shortly after 6 Eastern. And despite his team leading in the series, the offensive struggles continue for one Shohei Ohtani to the point where he took on-field batting practice at Dodger Stadium yesterday. I couldn't believe this when I read it. For the first time since joining the team 2 years ago. I guess he is not an on-field batting practice guy. So he went out there. They played his walk-up music. He was hitting balls up onto the roof out there on the pavilion in right field. And I think actually his first swing was actually a swing and miss, and the players were busting his chops there in BP a little bit. In any event,
anyone with me on the theory that his pitching is watering down his hitting? Is anyone getting there with me? I know he said no, but the fact that he got asked the question made me feel a little justified in my theory.
It was all over the internet. People, I think the Dodger fans are screaming for him. But here's the thing. It's easy to say now when Dodger starters are pitching complete games or going into the 8th inning and should have probably pitched a complete game with Blake Snell the other night. You don't need him as much, although he might come out of the bullpen tonight. I don't know if they're going to do that.
The funny thing is now the Dodgers are Koufax and Drysdale all of a sudden out of nowhere because the season they didn't have their starters at all. No, I do think that it kind of makes sense. Admit it. If you're focused on pitching, that's a big, big job. I just think that he's such a great hitter that you don't, for me, legacy-wise, you don't need the pitching. I know you think that's the special sauce.
Oh, that's the Babe Ruth part of it.
But he's Babe, yeah, exactly. Babe Ruth stopped pitching and broke every record as a hitter.
I know, but
that's
he's
what
the
Shohei
modern
could do.
Babe Ruth.
Right. And Babe Ruth stopped pitching, and exactly, he's a modern Babe Ruth. Start out pitching, show that you can do it, and then just win MVPs as a hitter.
I still want to see the gimmick. He's amazing pitcher. I didn't know what his walk-up song was. I had to look it up. Feeling Good by Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
What? I know Bublé was big in Japan.
I guess. I don't know what the genesis is there, but that is the walk-up song. They played that for him yesterday. He laid down a bunt, and then his first swing was actually a whiff. So one of the media members had the video, and you can hear the players chirping him on the field. But then he hit a bunch of bombs.
Sure.
In any event, here was his manager, Dave Roberts, still obviously very confident in his two-way superstar.
I think the first 2 games in Milwaukee, his at-bats have been fantastic. And so that's what I've been looking for. That's what I'm counting on.
And he had the 7th inning RBI single in Game 2, which snapped an 0-for-15 skid, second longest of his career. But since the wild card round, he is just 2 for his last 25 with 12 strikeouts. But the most important thing for the Dodgers is they are up 2-0 in that series. Football-wise, Brock Purdy limited at 49ers practice, hoping to return from injury when his 49ers host the Falcons Sunday night. Meantime, J.J. McCarthy, remember him? He returned to Vikings practice. Exactly. Itching to get back from his ankle sprain and into some game action.
Me, selfishly, I'm going to play if it was, off or not. But, we got to be smart here and understand, there's a lot of things that go into place. And, at the end of the day, I'm just going to do what I'm told and try to get better as fast as possible.
The Vikings are 3-2 off that 1-1 trip through Europe and their bye week as well. They're back home to host the defending champion Eagles this weekend.
Forgive me for doing a wrestling thing here, but the J.J. McCarthy injury update kind of reminds me of early career Randy Orton, where he kept giving weekly updates on how his shoulder was. He'd be like, I am now 66% close to returning. And then next week he'd be, I am now 72%. Like the J.J. McCarthy thing, I feel like he's always hurt. And no one seems to have a real idea when he's coming back. They didn't give a clear thing last year until then. They're like, oh, he's out for the season. Sorry. And then this year, when is he actually coming back? When is he going to be 100%?
I had a wrestler as a kid named Iron Mike Sharp. You guys probably don't know him. He had this brace made of metal on his arm for 6 years, and the announcers every match would be like, I don't know, it should be healed by now, Bill. I can't believe he's still wearing the brace. I think that's a perfect analogy. J.J. McCarthy's quote-unquote injury. Get out of here.
I mean, how many updates were they getting this guy's ankle or knee or whatever?
His ankle and knee all depend on how Carson Wentz is playing.
Seriously, I don't think you're wrong.
Revenge game, by the way, for Wentz. Has he faced the Eagles yet? In any of his other stops?
Sure he has.
Washington, probably.
Yeah.
Well, he only played a handful of games.
I was going to say, the Colts, are we sure?
Colts he might have missed, but I don't know if it feels like Wentz is so removed from that situation. Yeah. That I don't feel like he has harbors any ill will.
But what about in our hearts? Sorry, CeeLo.
One career game, according to StatMuse, when he was with when he was a commie. Yes, when
Commander.
Commie.
That was not a great stint for Carson Wentz.
No. You just mentioned his time in Indianapolis with the Colts. How about their social media team having a little fun with Daniel Jones' reputation for being on the quieter, more reserved side for a starting quarterback? So he was mic'd up this past week at home against the Cardinals. This was from one of the posts to the team's official X account, and you kind of get the gist of where they're going here. So essentially, they strung together like 50 seconds of him not saying anything.
This is him mic'd up. He's not saying a word.
There were some other posts.
Was it on the field?
Oh, yeah.
That's him taking hits.
Yeah, I felt like the pass rush coming at me.
Oh, yeah. He's taking hits. He's jogging on and off the field.
That's a hell of a silent count.
Sideline. Yeah, so they had some fun with that.
Oh, I see.
Honestly, I'm surprised he wasn't dialed in. They had their hands full with the Cardinals. We really didn't talk about that.
Yes.
They seem to get their hands full every week. It's funny. Like, they're an odd team. I like them, but
Peter King all in on them.
They have such good weapons. I mean, there are so many good receivers on that team.
Proud of my guys, Peter.
And Jonathan Taylor, like they should be. I mean, listen, they've been 8-9 even with no quarterback play. If you could win 8 games with a combination of Anthony Richardson, Gardner Minshew, and I don't know, and Carson Wentz,
Matt Ryan, I think, was in there.
Yeah, well, Ryan struggled. He was the only one who didn't do well. But generally, like Shane Steichen's a good coach.
Had Phillip Rivers in there for a season.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Flacco there for a season.
Oh, yeah. Flacco.
Rivers was good, right?
Yeah,
he
was.
Playoffs
Made
and
the
lost.
playoffs. They lost to Buffalo.
Yeah. Anyway, they're 5-1, so they can have some fun with Jones. First place atop the AFC South. They got a road game against the Chargers.
Just like we all expected.
This coming Sunday. That's right.
CeeLo, thank you. We had Peter King who joined us earlier in the hour. And if you missed any of that, you can either check out the Maggie and Perloff podcast, which comes out every day. And if you are so inspired to give us a 5-star review, it really does help, even though it's a very small thing.
Where's
also,
Peter King?
the rewind function on the Odyssey app and all of our social channels. What we didn't get we were gabbing so long with Peter. EJ, we didn't get a chance to ask him, but the rumors that Bill Parcells, who we were talking about from that 86 Giants team, who's going up against the King of the Mountain today, 84 49ers, if Parcells really is in Aaron Glenn's ear. The head coach of the New York Jets, who's embattled right now because they have not won a game and they look terrible, and Aaron Glenn looks completely lost. But the rumors are that Parcells is the one who's kind of like helping him out behind the scenes, and that ain't going well.
I think Glenn confirmed that he definitely talked to him this week.
Yeah, but I mean, is Bill Parcells like giving him like game plan advice or just being like a mentor? Parcells is 84 or 85.
Yeah, but I think he's still sharp. I don't think the game passes you by.
Wow,
and Aaron Glenn sounds like Bill Parcells in some of these things.
The Jets.
This team could win the Super Bowl if they were only team in the NFL.
Listen, that was a Browns call.
That was a Browns
Don't
call,
do that,
Manny.
we have won a Super Bowl. The Browns haven't.
Still applicable.
Okay, coming up next, I never thought in a million years, a million plus eras, Jurassic eras, Mesozoic eras, that you'd ever hear trolling come from this particular person. We'll do that next.
This crap is crap.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Down in the YouTube chat where the wild ones roam, there's a legend named Drunkle Never Drinks Alone. He's got caps lock, wisdom, and a typing hand, defending on Maggie like a one-man band. Y'all back off, he types an all bold. She ain't gross, she's just cold. Yeah, maybe she acting that Yeti one night, but rinse it with bourbon, it'll turn out right. Drunkle sound in the digital stand, swear it up and down, that's my Kim, I'm her man. Is he real, is he fake, no one really knows, but he's got her back through highs and lows. Family's family, he slurs with pride. You don't judge a girl on a rough ride. So here's to the myth and a Yankees hat cam. Raise your bottom full, Drunkle Sam. There's a storm rolling in on the pickleball court. Bailey showed up in jorts and a cut-off shirt. Pierre walked in with a monogram grip, talking about spinning angles and wrist flick tips. Bailey just smirked, said, bless your heart, then served that ball like a moonshine dart. Pierre's got a name that belongs in Versailles, but he's getting schooled by a dude who eats fries. Bailey just smirked, said, bless your heart, then served that ball like a moonshine dart. Pierre's got a name that belongs in Versailles, but he's getting schooled by a dude who eats fries. Bailey's gonna wreck Pierre, say it loud. Gonna humble that paddle prince in front of the crowd. You can't beat grit with your country club flair, cause ain't nothing fancy about winning fair and square. So sip your latte, Pierre, sit in your chair. Bailey's bringing smoke and he ain't gonna share. Pierre's wearing wristbands, got strategy charts. Daly's just playing with pure backwoods heart. He don't need top spin, he don't need grace, just a greasy breakfast and a steel game face. He dunks, he smashed that serve. Pierre backed off, didn't have the nerve. They say it's just a game, but not to Daly. He's playing for pride and a biscuit with gravy. Pierre sounds like a perfume. Daly sounds like a man who chops wood at noon. Daly's gonna wreck Pierre on this day. That snooty spin shot's getting blown away. You bring your finesse, he'll bring the boom and send that pickleball straight to your ballroom. So next time you serve, let's say a prayer, cause Daly's coming and he don't fight fair. They're probably still Googling what's a dinker. This day, that snooty spin shot's getting blown away. You bring your finesse, he'll bring the blow and send that pickleball straight to your ballroom. So next time you serve, I say prayer, cause Daly's coming and he don't fight fair.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff show. Pearl, I think we all kind of love, no matter what your religious background is, your beliefs, whatever, it is kind of cool that the new Pope not only is American, but he's, a man from Chicago who's got sports ties.
Yeah.
Big time White Sox fan, Pope Leo. We all know this. So the Pope was, where else? The Vatican.
Oh, I thought Japan.
Yeah, he travels a lot. But he was at the Vatican the other day,
Okinawa.
and he was on, the Pope Mobile.
Yeah.
So he's riding through the crowd, Pearl, and he's waving to everybody. You're familiar with the scene. And people are, yelling things to him, and he's not saying anything. He's just waving and being very, pious and stately.
Just holy.
Yeah, holy. Thank you.
Amen.
But then a Cubs fan emerges from the crowd, and here's what it sounded like. Oh my gosh. You can take the guy out of Chicago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the guy, Pearl. That was Pope Leo on the Pope Mobile as a guy shouts out, "Go Cubs." He says in 2 different languages, they lost, because he's a White Sox fan.
Oh, wow. That is brutal.
Amazing. Listen, what we do. Listen, I'm the first person to say what we do is like not as important as, you know, the ER doctors, the nurses on the overnight shift, teachers, people who are working construction. Like, there's a million things that are more important than what we do.
That's a long list.
Yeah, we could keep going.
But
that guy standing over there, that I don't know what he's doing, but it's more important than us.
Listen, but
yeah,
if this doesn't drive home the power of sports, and I'm not even trying to be Pollyanna about it, but of all those things that people are shouting to the Pope, the one reaction was about sports.
Yeah, but we didn't have anything to do with that.
No,
that
I'm
was
saying
sports.
Sports does. Sports.
Yeah,
We're adjacent. We're nowhere near the Pope. Good grief. And no shot. There's nothing pious about either of us.
My
Not
question
about
is,
EJ and Manny.
My question is there any
Private
other
school kid.
position currently that should be above trolling?
Well,
because the Pope, I never would have imagined the Pope would troll anyone.
He's the best we got is like humanity. Even if you aren't Catholic, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so the fact that he'd even troll anybody, I'm like, wow. Is no one beneath Poland?
Is the Dalai Lama tough talking like the Russell Westbrook contract?
That's what I'm saying. Like the Dalai Lama has got to be the next one, right? Like that's the who else would be above
Mother
trolling?
Teresa would have been.
Right.
Another nun. Dalai Lama, obviously spiritual leader. I don't think we have another person who's like shorthand for just being like a really like a good person.
Would the King of England troll?
Charles?
Right.
Oh, he's very polarizing.
Yeah,
Is he a soccer fan?
I can think of one troll.
I don't think anybody likes Charles.
I can.
What about Elizabeth?
Somebody?
Would she have trolled somebody?
Right.
Queen Elizabeth.
She was above it. Oh,
Diana
definitely.
was definitely above.
Oh yeah.
Diana,
She was classy.
no, Diana would have been in there mixing it up.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Well, she was also quite polarized. Yeah, I think the Queen would be the one. She stayed neutral. Because to be above it, you have to stay totally neutral on everything. And she was super famous for that, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is Pope Leo.
Ask the Irish.
At the Vatican.
Well, I mean, listen, if
Trolling
you want to
someone
get
who
into
said, "Go
Pope,
Cubs."
then that's a long conversation, too.
I don't want to get into that. He trolled somebody who said, "Go Cubs," because he's a White Sox fan. Said they lost. Said in 2 languages. I think again, you could have given me 1,000 guesses. Who was trolling Cubs fans the other day? I would have not come up with Pope Leo from Chicago. Power Sports, Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Get on
that
board.
doesn't mean that we created this power. Sports talk. I mean, we are, it's funny. Like, our job is pretty much in the big picture, kind of irrelevant in that sense.
Come on.
Which is good.
You kid,
It gives us
clearly.
freedom to say whatever we want.
Yeah, I think the Pope is it. Oh, is this Tabor in Portland? Wants to weigh in on the Maggie Perloff King of the Mountain. It's our search for the greatest NFL team of all time. You're telling me that's not important? Right now we have the 84 49ers up against the 86 New York Giants. Good morning, Tabor.
Good morning. Love the show. So full disclosure, I am a lifelong 49er fan, but in regards to this matchup between the 84 Niners and the 86 Giants, a lot of people forget that in the 86 playoffs, the Giants knocked out Montana early in the first half when the infamous Jim Burt hit, which by today's standards, he not only would have been fined, but probably suspended. It was such an egregiously unnecessary roughness hit. So as far as, the 86 Giants were certainly dominant that year. It was their year, but I think also, too, that has to be accounted for when you're talking about the matchup.
Tabor, do you remember that Joe Montana went on SNL and made fun of his concussion? Or have you ever seen...
remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
It was a different time where concussions were funny.
Tabor, thank you.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah,
I'd be dead serious. He's like, somebody says something to him. He's like, I have no idea what you just said. I just had a concussion, and it was a joke. And he had one famous sketch that I cannot repeat here. Have you guys? Joe Montana has an all-time famous SNL sketch.
I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna go up to my room and be by myself. It's
oh boy,
it's
that could mean anything.
Yeah, it's people out there who know the history of SNL. This sketch at all time. If you ever, I'll share it. Basically, he is a man with no filter.
That's the premise.
And Joe Montana plays it to it's unbelievable. I'll send it around. It's like a lot of greatest of SNL sketches.
Does that factor into the equation? You can go vote right now at Maggie and Pearl. 84 Niners versus 86 Giants coming up next. Tua's talking crazy.
Take care, sit in your chair. Real down in the Rockies where the air runs thin, a showdown was brewing and the stakes ran big. Ryan Rube walked tall with a confident grin, but Daly showed up with a mean backspin. He came out swinging with a fire in his soul. Four hands like thunder had one simple goal. Out in Colorado, skies painted blue. Billy laced up, got something to prove. Ryan Rube was talking that big-time game, but left that court with nothing but shame. 6'2", 6'3", it was quick, it was clean. Daly played like he was born on that green. Now he's sitting on top of that local chart, #1 with the champion's heart. Yeah, so raise up a toast, give that man his due. Daly's the king, and the serve was true. He crushed that match like a back road song and left Rube wondering what went wrong. But even with Daly now claiming the crown, the tech god still got shit beating him down. He's staring at wires and praying for grace, cause his TriCaster's still locked in outer space. Maggie said that's how legends are born.
From Infinity Show, eyes wide open, countdown sound that sends hits deep like a goal line pound.
Well, the match was set, the crowd poured in. Daly versus Rube, and we all smelled the wind. The band was tuned up, the mics were on, but old Peter Bellotti was nowhere to be found. We checked the lot twice. No car, no coffee, no bag of ice. Just an empty chair where he ought to be, while Daly served aces on live TV. Light never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting and the crowd yelled, wow. First set served to the last sweet swing. Bellotti missed the whole dang thing. Yeah, the lights were bright and the banjos played, but Bellotti took another workday holiday. The backhand sailed, the crowd went wild. Daly high-fived every mom and child, but the victory song had a verse cut short, cause Bellotti still hadn't shown up to court. Maybe he's fishing, maybe he's asleep, maybe he's lost in the Costco meet, but one thing's sure, as the southern sun, Bellotti's work streak still stands at none. Light never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting and the crowd yelled, wow. The baseline grind to the trophy shine. Bellotti missed it for the 89th time. Yeah, the drinks got poured and the guitars played, but Bellotti took another workday holiday. Well, the legend's growing about his great escape. He's Houdini with PTO drape. Some say he'll show when pigs take flight, but till then Pete's off every night. Light never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting and the crowd yelled, wow. The first line cheer to the final scene. Bellotti was gone like he's always been. So raise your glass to the man MIA. Bellotti's taking one more work day
holiday. Daly's got a trophy, but Lonnie's got the day off again. Ruber showed up with a racket in hand, talking like he's finally the man with the plan. Said this year's mine, been training all fall. Daly just laughed, didn't sweat it at all. First serves in and the crowd leans in. By the first few games, it's looking like a sin. Rube swinging wild, chasing every ball, but Daly's got answers for them all. Rube just can't beat Daly, it's the same old song. Every forehand's fire, every backhand's strong. The score's lopsided, the outcome's clear, and Peter Bellotti still ain't here. Yeah. While Rubu's out there losing in the heat, Gub's on the mic, Perloff's in retreat, filling in smooth, keeping fans on the line, taking that show and making it shine. But back on the court, it's another round.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Major disagreement on the show about the current state of Tua Tagovailoa and the future for Tua. Welcome in, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We get back to the college coaching carousel in just a moment. But, Pearl, it was Tua's mea culpa yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of. I walked back some of the comments that he said, or more apologize for them, actually. Didn't walk them back. Apologize for them. Basically saying, the fact that he had called out his teammates after they lost last week to the Chargers, said, listen, guys, they're either not showing up to these mandatory meetings or they're showing up late. Basically turning the mirror into the locker room, which is generally a no-no, and saying, you guys aren't doing enough. And to be honest, most of the response was, well, Tua, this is actually a poor reflection on you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bad time for Tua. A, he's not playing well, and B, you can hear his frustration, and he doesn't know how to handle this situation. I guess, obviously being criticized and not taking it the right way. I differ from you. I think I give him a little bit of a pass. Like, it was a brutal loss to the Chargers. He was crazy emotional and let out his frustration and shared something that he shouldn't have about behind-the-scenes drama.
So here's Tua, some of the apology. First, this is him saying, I didn't mean it.
I've made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it. They know my heart. They know that the intent was right. But no matter the intent, the intent can be right. But when things get misconstrued or however the media wants to portray it, that leaves a void of silence and a lot of questions for the guys on our team.
Yeah, this started out like a good apology. It did, and not to get too deep into parsing all of his words, but it started out with the apology and owning it, and I apologize to guys in the locker room. And then it turned into, and the media is to blame because you guys turned it into something that it wasn't intended to be, and then it kind of turned into some gobbledygook after that. So, listen, I think the bigger question here is there was a time when Tua was a prize. Coming out of Alabama, what a successful career he had in college. Just shocking.
Tank for Tua.
For Tua was a real thing.
We thought he might be a number one overall pick.
No doubt. So it turned out that was Joe Burrow's year. But
yeah.
And Justin Herbert then got picked right after him. But, Tua was a real commodity. And let's not act like Tua has never, he's never done anything in the NFL in terms of playoff wins. But, the guy actually has talent. And I think sometimes we forget about that, especially when your team's 1-5 and you're saying stupid things at the podium. But is there a future? Probably not in Miami, Pearl, because they're looking at maybe the number one overall pick or something close.
Yeah.
Is there a world where Tua, like Sam Darnold, like Baker Mayfield, like Daniel Jones, like Mac Jones, these guys have found a new home somewhere else, and now we think of them completely different. Is there a world where that is Tua Tagovailoa?
What is different about Tua than all those players? It's hanging over his head, and we all know it's there. his injury history is so serious that no team is going to commit to him as a starter. I really believe that. First of all, he's on the hook for Miami is going to have a real hard time getting out of his contract, even next year, harder than the Broncos had with Russell Wilson. So he's probably going to have to stay in Miami for all that money. And I just don't think anyone's going to commit to him, even as a one-year starter, because we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop. We saw it. We saw him going in the fencer's pose now multiple times. I just don't think people trust that Tua can stay healthy. So even with the struggles, what is the first paragraph about Tua is not going to be anything about on-field stuff. It's going to be about the concussion. So I'm sorry, I don't think he has a Baker Mayfield future ahead of him.
Can I tell you something sobering?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones has missed more games than Tua. Does it matter what type of injury it is?
Of course.
Well, I mean,
These
Daniel
concussions
Jones
are progressive.
But what about a back injury like Daniel Jones had?
Back injury, yeah. But I mean, there's so much science on exactly how concussions build on each other. Back injuries, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they're both serious. Obviously, your brain would be the number one thing. So I'm not disagreeing with you there. I totally understand what you're saying. But Daniel Jones was also an injury-prone player.
It's so different.
Isn't the best availability? I mean, what? It's, again.
No. I mean, no.
But Jones has missed more games.
Tom Brady tore his ACL in 2008 or whatever. That didn't mean, who cares? Like, that a lot of people's injuries heal. Tua is not going to heal. The brain does not heal. Not the right way.
Well, I don't know if the brain doesn't heal, but I get what you're saying. But your back is also your back. Like, I think that it's not the same as tearing an ACL and then recovering. By the way, tearing an ACL, guys come back from it, but it's still a big injury. Brady had to play a lot differently and got down a lot quicker. Daniel Jones still runs.
Daniel Jones, I don't even.
I'm just saying.
What are his injuries? Yeah, so he's been nicked up. I actually don't even know. Is he had like a major thing?
Well, he also tore his ACL too.
He tore his ACL. But he had his back issue was like
neck issues. Yeah, the neck is more of a thing, I think.
The neck was a thing that ended his season like midway through, if I'm remembering that right. And so he's had
here's the thing. Daniel Jones is huge too. I think the size too is
big
one
target.
of the smallest quarterbacks in the NFL, and obviously, I hate to say it, I think that contributed to him being so vulnerable to head injuries because guys were much heavier were landing on him. And then you take Josh Allen, for example, he's so big that that does help with certain kinds of injuries.
Dan Jones had a neck surgery in 2022 and then re-injured his neck in 2023 in Miami.
Wow, I'm really surprised to hear this. So you think Daniel Jones and Tua Tagovailoa are same?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that if the reason why you wouldn't take Tua is simply because he's got the injury history with the concussions. Daniel Jones also had a laundry list of serious injuries. Your neck's not unserious. It's not a toe. And he is now like leading a team that looks like they could have a top seed in the AFC. So I just wonder if there's no future for Tua somewhere else. Probably not with the Dolphins. I think everyone believes it's time to clean house, general manager, coach, quarterback, even if it is painful to take on dead cap money. You spread it out. You have a rookie quarterback. It's exactly what the Broncos have done when they got rid of Russell Wilson and brought in Bo Nix. It's painful, but you can take the short-term pain. I think that Tua's career is not over, even if his Dolphins run is over, is my point.
I read an interesting thing. They had a window to get out after this season, and they missed it. So all of Tua's money is guaranteed, and they can't pull a Russell Wilson. So they're kind of stuck with him next year, unless they can trade him, and that doesn't seem likely.
Well, trading him, I don't know anybody. Like, unless you eat a lot of the money, and the team who's acquiring him doesn't have to pay a lot.
I'm not sure, and you're allowed to do that. I'm not even sure that's possible.
Well, that would be like, you're sure they can't do the Russell Wilson thing?
Yeah, that's what I just read, that the Russell Wilson was set up in a completely different way than Tua. So they maybe they could, but they're going to end up paying him $50 million next year.
As you always say, sunk costs.
I think he's on the team next year with a rookie. That would be my most likely scenario.
And I don't love that. I don't know if I love that, you know.
I mean, it
Tua
has
still
happened.
is going to think of himself as the starter,
Yeah,
right?
I know. But that, it often happens where there's a veteran who's stuck there. I mean, Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes.
But it wasn't Smith's first stop. It wasn't with the 49ers, right? He and Kaepernick, that was actually, I think, kind of tense.
But it was definitely weird when Alex Smith, I mean, Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts a little different. There's a history of old quarterbacks being like, wait, you just drafted who? So, and also Tua has to understand that this isn't working in Miami. So he can't, what is he going to say? They're 1-5.
I know. And I know the record obviously speaks for itself, but I think Tua is kind of, I think like a lot of these guys, not just Tua, I think a lot of them are delusional. Like we just talked to Peter King last hour, and I asked, does he believe in this Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, these sort of retread guys? He said, absolutely. They believe they are the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They just need the right opportunity. So, yeah, I think to get to this level, you have to have that kind of part of it has to be delusion, no?
Yeah, I mean, but also, too, is different, though. He openly talked about he almost quit, which he should have. He said he almost retired after the really, really bad one. So he's already thought about leaving football because of concussions. I don't think he's going to battle the same way Baker does, I think, I'm so sorry to say this, but I think his career is going to be limited.
888-710-4ISN. Would Tua have a future outside of the Miami Dolphins? You just made me think of something. Yeah. Yesterday, one of my big fears was realized this is not nearly as serious as Tua's concussion. So bear with me. I'm taking a left turn here. But Josh Allen.
Oh, of course it was the Bills.
The quarterback for my favorite football team is now embattled at 0-2 and now on a bye week.
It's compared to the defensive end on the Jaguars. That Josh Allen.
Josh Hines Allen.
Yeah. You mean Haley's husband?
Yeah, Haley's husband.
Oh, okay.
And that actually plays into it. So he does the sit down with Marty Smith. I sent it to you guys yesterday and said this is like my number one fear.
Why? Explain exactly why that really freaks you out.
Get that?
Sorry, I just sent it to Perloff.
Yeah. Damn.
It's not even that's not even a side text thread.
I'm not mad at you. No.
We've got multiple text threads. This one is just kind of for man, he's mad. You might have a right to be. We'll put you on it. Man, he's not talking to us anymore. All right. This is why I'm upset about this Josh Allen sit down, okay? Sits down with Marty Smith. And Marty brings up Scotty Scheffler. And do you remember when Scotty Scheffler talked about how winning was not fulfilling to him and how he gets to the top of the mountain and it's like, well, what's next or what's left or why do I even do this or what does it all mean? What does it all matter? Listen, so Marty Smith asked Josh Allen about that. And he asked about, like, how do you view yourself as an athlete? All this enlightened BS. He asked him, what has being married made you realize? Like, how has Haley made you a better person? Okay. He said, it's made me think I'm more than just a football player. Get out of here. Stop. This is my biggest fear realized. You can be everything more than a football player. No one's begrudging you that. Do all the things you want to do. Commercials, movies, charities, doesn't matter. But I don't even want that seed of doubt, whether it's even publicly, that, I'm already thinking about what the next thing is. We're still in this thing. This is the thing. And Josh has never shown that he's not dialed in, Pearl, so I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm actually blaming Marty here. Marty, get out of here with this new age BS. That's for after the Super Bowls. He's still got to get the first one.
What is Maggie ranting about right now? I don't even understand.
I mean, come on. Are we friends or are we not friends? You got to come along with me here on I'm freaking out.
Oh, my God. You need a sports therapist.
No, I need Scotty Scheffler to get out of my life.
No, you need some whiskey. That's what you need.
Well, I've got access to that. And I do have a
enough that
therapist.
She doesn't need to go straight to the booze.
I have a therapist, and she's sick of hearing about this. I can tell.
So now we got to deal with it.
Now you got to go get a new therapist.
I feel like you're looking for problems with Josh Allen. This is all fine.
To be fair, though, that's what Bills Mafia's been saying about this interview. I saw that quote being quoted with everyone saying what Maggie's saying, which sounds kind of crazy to me.
Oh, get out of here. I don't sound crazy. It's just
it's just that I mean he just got married. I mean I don't know like that was his answer to the question.
Okay.
Now I do think he's going a little Hollywood Allen, but
he's in every commercial, but that's fine. I don't care about that. I really don't care about that. Okay. He does all that happens in the offseason. Who cares? Okay. He's never shown that he's not dialed in.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's different about this is the mentality of I'm more than just a football player. That's fine. You can be it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, imagine if Travis Kelce started dating Taylor and he had never won a thing. And in fact, the Chiefs kept getting to the AFC Championship game and losing to the Bills.
He's a tight end, though. No one would really hold that against him.
You're getting in the weeds on this one. I'm
All
just
right,
saying.
Tom Brady with Giselle.
Just or with Tom Brady, if they didn't have the wins, okay,
There's got to be an example of a great player who couldn't get the Super Bowl ring, but then did marry someone famous. And do we blame that?
I'm
We've got to have a better
her.
analogy, or not blame, but blame him for becoming too big time and not keeping the focus on what's important.
I'm just saying I'm not ready. Josh is the one who's living it. And by the way, he's doing a great job of being a famous person in a fishbowl. I think he really handles his fame and celebrity excellently. So I don't want this to come off as too harsh. I almost don't even love the question. And there was another question in there of, will you be at peace if you never win a Super Bowl? Like, come on, dude. You're talking to the MVP in the prime of his career.
And what'd he say?
He said he would not be fulfilled. Like, he said the right thing. This is still my number one goal. So I want to give Josh full credit for that. But it's this like, yeah, I'm more than a football player. I don't think that would go over well if you guys were rooting for a team that was getting so close and falling short, and then hearing the most important person in the history of the franchise say, "Oh yeah, I think about him more than just."
If
a
Aaron
football
Judge
player.
said that, he'd be getting destroyed today.
Oh, Jalen Brunson said that, I'd be very, very upset with my life.
Exactly. So stop making it seem like I'm the weirdo who's freaking out about this.
No, it's just concentrated.
Yeah.
The reason why I say crazy is because it's just very concentrated in Buffalo. I didn't see any non-Bills fans with this.
Because they're not paying attention. That
Right. No. I just think that this is crazy. Like, let's not ignore that Bills fandom is insane. Like, if you're
Eagles
missing
fandom's not insane. You guys would beat up somebody in a wheelchair. Yes, you would.
You are the Eagles fans are the most insufferable group of people in the world.
Second only to New York fans.
Maybe so, but I mean, just don't think for 1 second that your rantings and ramblings on the Buffalo Bills are sane, Maggie. And I don't take that as an insult either. Like, just don't think there's logic here.
I never claimed to
Your
be
hair's-
sane.
Yeah, of course not.
But you don't think that there's
to be a
something,
fan.
and I don't mean to be devil's advocate, but you don't think there's something sometimes to someone actually being too tense and too pressed and actually thinking that the world's going to end if they don't win? Like, there are athletes who say, when I realized that, there's more to life than just this thing, I actually broke through.
Listen, we had a guest on the show yesterday, Darby Allen, jumps off these tall things, and we said, how do you not get hurt? And he goes, because if you tense up, you're going to get hurt. Yeah. If you just accept the impact, then you actually can survive these big falls. It was a weird philosophical turn from a guy wearing face paint.
Yeah, you guys know I tripped on Darby last night because I was looking for baseball on TBS, and Darby Allen was getting his butt kicked. So that for what that's worth.
The blood's real. But yes,
but wait, one
you
thing
don't
about
want him to be too tense. I get that, and I think Sean McDermott coaches too tense in these big moments, and you don't want them too tense. I guess I'm just saying. I'm blaming Scotty. No, that's more than just when you think
Scotty's won a bunch of championships. Maybe he does need more like Scotty.
When I think about Brady or Michael Jordan or these guys, would they even entertain that idea?
You got to be also the other thing too is it's the Tom Brady rule. Anything that Josh Allen says to Marty Smith, it may or may not be true. He's just trying to get through that interview.
And he's so gracious. Like he says yes to everything. He is a good dude, I think.
If you did run into a little trouble there because don't go after Marty Smith. I mean, we're talking about 100% Q rating. Like,
I know.
Yeah. Touch Marty and you're going to lose it. Even Bills Mafia, I would. Well, maybe not because that's like way away from college football country. But Marty is a popular person. I just think that's the thing. Like as Tom Brady said, like he might be lying, he might not be lying. Like whatever he said, that doesn't really say where he's at. I'm sure he would kill or die to win the Super Bowl. I really believe that.
And all of the hopes and dreams of the entire fan base are on him, whether that's fair or unfair. But the other part about Marty, I love it. He's super funny, and I like his shtick a lot. And he, I think, asks some good questions, and I'm all for asking whatever question you want to ask. But Josh Allen's not Chris Paul, okay? We're not talking about a guy who's on his last legs and asking, are you ever going to win a Super Bowl and are you ever going to be fulfilled? Like Josh Allen's in year 8. I don't think he's asking that question to Justin Herbert. I don't think he's asking this question to Lamar Jackson. Maybe he is. I thought it was a little early in Josh's career to be asking that question. Josh isn't wrapping it up. He's not even 30. I was a little surprised by the question, I guess. But ask it. We're reporters. We're all journalists here, whatever we do.
Love you, Maggie, but I'm on Team Marty on this one. I don't know the haircut. It's so cool.
The southern accent, so
That
charming.
southern accent, like
the
for
voice
some
is
reason,
the
like
man. He's the man with the voice.
he's allowed to ask that question. Like Marty, when he asks a question like that, I'm like, yeah, great question.
What's the male equivalent of a southern belle? That's what Marty Smith is.
Facts.
Sitting down like Tom Rinaldi, like they were about to play the violin sad music. I'm like, the guy's in the middle of his season. They're 4-2. Let's chill out.
Works for me. You get him, Marty.
All right. Coming up next, let's check in on how people feel in Pittsburgh, shall we? Andrew Fillipponi is going to join us from 93.7 The Fan.
All right, Maggie. You know what's so awesome about Prize Picks right now? Basketball is coming back. You have football. You have baseball. You still have soccer going on. Any sport you want, if you think you have a good take, you can win money by having the right take on Prize Picks. It's so cool. New users get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Simple to use. Just pick 2 or more players. Pick more or less on their stat projections. Anything from TDs to threes. And if you're right, you could win big.
Okay, last hour I gave you a Vlad Guerrero Jr. Aaron Rodgers combination. How about this one, though, for tonight? Maybe this is the second play for me on Prize Picks. Cal Raleigh, more than a 6.5 hitter fantasy score. Okay, maybe a big bounce back spot tonight for the Mariners after they got crushed last night by Toronto. And pair that up with Jamar Chase. I'm going to go more than 75.5 receiving yards. I just think with Chase, if it starts with a 7, it's too small. I think Joe Flacco can get him the ball, even in a really good Pittsburgh secondary with Joey Porter Jr. and Jalen Ramsey.
I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, love Prize Picks. We're obsessed with it, and you can be too. Prize Picks is available in 40-plus states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code MNP to get $50 bonus credit in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break.
Okay. This is Maggie Gray with an
Rube is already wishing he stayed at home. Rube just can't be dead.
Trouble Sam took the mic in sequence and shame said I'll win this contest, you'll remember my name. But the teleprompter froze, he pulled out a cheat sheet, lip sync and turned back time with 2 left feet. Oh, the crowd they booed, the DJ cried, he'd even Cher herself would have run to hide. If he could cheat in karaoke, he'd be the champ, but it's all hokey. With a glass of gin and a tambourine, he's the sloppiest diva you've ever seen.
When the mics go hot, alerts shine bright. Maggie and Perloff ride the air all night. But behind the curtain, there's a backbone strong. It's Manny Rodriguez keeping this train rolling on. He's the chromosome, the fire in the bones, the steel in the engine, the king of the show. From sunrise to sundown, let the whole world know. Manny's the chromosome. Yeah, Manny's the chromosome. A lot he's still missing, snoozing through the day. Supposed to hit the clock, but he drifted away while Manny's grinding.
Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, this portion of the show is sponsored by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com. All right, Maggie, when the schedule makers, our good friends at the NFL corporate office, set up the Steelers-Bengals Thursday night game, I think they were thinking we might get a Burrow-Aaron Rodgers matchup. That is not going to happen. So we get Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. So it's a little harder to get excited, but it could be a very interesting game.
Yeah, I think there's quite frankly a lot more at stake for the Bengals here. If they have any designs on staying alive, which is, I would assume, why you trade for Joe Flacco. I mean, they could have just went with Jake Browning and called it a day with the season and, I don't know, regroup for next year or what have you. But instead, we know now that they were making calls on Derek Carr. They decided to do the trade for Flacco. And against Green Bay last week for Cincinnati, the second half looked better, you know. Flacco just got there. You have these two great wide receivers. I mean, the defense still stinks, but maybe if somehow Cincinnati can win this game on a Thursday night against the team that's in first place in the division, maybe you start thinking, all right, we can keep the ship afloat.
Yeah, the Bengals have the Jets, Bears, and Steelers again. And they kind of have a tough schedule, so it is going to be really hard. But I forget who's calling that game, said just the offense just looks like it has more pep with Flacco running it. I don't know what happened to my guy, Jake Browning. I love a backup quarterback, and he was on my list. He stunk the last few weeks. It just is not meant to be.
Well, let's turn our attention to our friends in Pittsburgh. And for that, we go to Andrew Fillipponi, of course, on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. He's our first call when we're talking about the Steel City. Andrew, thanks so much for the time. How you doing?
I'm watching the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse right now with my daughter.
Oh, I'm sorry
Does that
for
do
you.
anything for you guys?
No, it's the most annoying of all the kids' cartoons right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a shot.
Take.
Oh, it's so annoying. The house is alive. It's like basically a horror show, but it's a cartoon. Pony, you got to get your daughter off that crap. Anyway, let's talk about the Steelers for a moment. You know, Andrew, we talked about this in the offseason. Everyone had, I think, some serious trepidation about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Steelers. He got there late. You know, was he going to be a walking headline like he was with the New York Jets? What's so far, boots on the ground, how's the experience been with Rodgers?
I don't think it could be any better. He's played better than I thought he would. He's given them a chance to win in every game. They've won 4 or 5 of those games. They have a commanding lead in the AFC North. He has not alienated any of his teammates. He's not disparaged anyone. There have been no passive-aggressive shots at people. He hasn't done anything to make it about himself and not the team. He really has been true to his word when he signed that he wanted this to be his final chapter, and he wanted it to be fun, and he wanted to give back to football, and he's done that here, and so far it's really still a honeymoon period for everybody.
Oh, boy. Is the TV show's not doing it right now? Once again,
there was a blanket snafu here, Perloff.
Got it.
But we'll fix that. We're working on it.
Let me ask you an Aaron Rodgers question. He's playing kind of conservatively and very well in that role. But what does this do for the Steelers' ceiling this year? Have the expectations I don't know if they've changed, but are they bigger now that Rodgers has gotten off to a pretty good start?
Oh, the expectations have changed immensely. I mean, before the season started, it was just make the playoffs. I think that was the expectation here, was they were probably going to make it, best case scenario, and then get clubbed by a team in the first round again like they have for the last number of years. But now you look at the division, and it's there for the taking, and that would mean a home playoff game for the first time since 2020. Maggie knows all about the Bills. The Colts look like they might be the best team in the AFC right now. I don't think everybody takes them seriously. And Kansas City is 3-3 and probably the team to beat again. So that's my way of saying I think that Steelers fans rightfully believe that they've got as good a chance as anybody with the way Rodgers has played so far this year and with what the defense has done the last few games.
Pony, are people thinking Super Bowl, though, or they're just thinking home playoff game and then whatever happens, happens?
Well, I don't think anybody's thinking Super Bowl because it would be such a big jump from 8 years without winning a playoff game to getting to Santa Clara, and it would just seem surreal that a 41-year-old quarterback would be the guy to get you there. Not that it's unprecedented with what Brady did in Tampa Bay. Brett Favre had Minnesota an interception away from going when he was in his 40s, but I still don't think that that's a complete reality yet. Fans are just excited that they're seeing the team that was advertised to them in the offseason by the organization. The defense over the last 3 games has been playing at an elite level. The first-round pick, Derek Harmon, on defense has been great. The DK Metcalf trade has paid huge dividends. They've invested a lot in their offensive line. They're finally getting return there. And Aaron Rodgers plays, for the most part, mistake-free football and does something from a football mind perspective in every game where he creates a play or shows you flashes with his arm still here and there that makes you think, he's not going to lose us a lot of games, and he's still got that Hall of Fame quality in him that he can make plays to win you close games.
All right, let me be a hater for a second. Last year, they jumped out to 8-2 record. I had TJ Watt as my MVP of the entire league, and it fell apart. How do we know this is not going to be the same thing as what happened with Russell Wilson last year?
Well, we don't know that. And their schedule does get a lot harder. And that's why I think tonight's game is kind of a turning point perspective on that. It's a fork in the road for them. If they win it, they get a 4-game lead on Baltimore, and it looks like it's smooth sailing the rest of the way. If they lose, they open the door for both Cincinnati and Baltimore, and for Lamar Jackson to come back and give them a chance to take advantage of another potential Steelers collapse or slide at the end of the year. So that's why I think tonight's game is so big for them. I don't see it 5-1, them giving up a lead. Even if Aaron Rodgers were to get hurt, I think Mason Rudolph could go in and hold down the fort. And I know how much you love backup quarterbacks, Andrew, so maybe that's music to your ears. But no, I don't.
Mason Rudolph's on his Mount Rushmore.
I do not think I just think that there's a wide gulf. I didn't think this going into the year, but now I believe that there's a wide gulf between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, and especially Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields.
But let me ask you one question, though. But you still have the same head coach. And, I wonder about the conservative stuff. I know that you've said that fans get kind of frustrated with the Tomlin style. So that's the common ingredient to me that I worry about a bit.
Yeah, and it's gone both ways. I mean, he's been here for so long, 2 decades. There have been tons of seasons where they've been left for dead and they've been great in December, and then they've had years like last year where they completely fell apart and lost 5 in a row to end the year. So that's the nature of Tomlin. That's why he contains multitudes as a coach, because you can point to years where they rallied, and then you can point to years where they completely tripped over themselves and fell apart. So last year, I mean, it's got to be on the mind of some of these guys if they start to lose in November and December because they just lived it. But I can tell you that right now, I think the vibe around the team is much better than it was last year because it seems more sustainable with Rodgers, believe it or not, than it did with the quarterbacks they had last year.
Andrew Fillipponi is joining us. Of course, he's on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. He's our first call when there's anything and everything that has to do with the Steel City. Also, I should mention the First and Pod podcast with Patrick Peterson is fantastic. Now he's doing double duty, dad duty this morning and joining us. Obviously, you're a talented dude. Pony, I'm curious, you guys, the Steelers are off to a 4-1 start. You got, a game tonight against a division rival, but Joe Flacco just got there like a week and a half ago. So you're setting up in a good spot here. Is there any remorse about the George Pickens trade, considering it looks like the Steelers may have something here? I know you traded for DK Metcalf, so you do have a number one guy, and Rodgers clearly has established a rapport with him. But was there a thought maybe you could have both of these guys?
Okay, so it depends who you ask. I think fans are very, very, very split and divided on this, just to give you a sense for where the fan base is. Because right now, given how well things have gone this year, there's not a lot of lightning rod issues with the team, but I think this is one. Because they obviously, after DK Metcalf, have probably the worst wide receiver depth of any good team in the NFL. Calvin Austin, their number 2 receiver, is not going to play tonight because he's hurt. And he doesn't have a track record in the NFL as a complimentary wide receiver yet. And there's nothing after that. Scotty Miller, who last seen was catching a touchdown to break Aaron Rodgers' heart in a playoff game almost 5 years ago now, is the guy that is going to get the second reps at wide receiver. So it's a problem for them as far as the grand scheme of things in the NFL. It hasn't hurt them yet this year, but it obviously has the potential to. I loved the Pickens trade because I did think it was addition by subtraction, because I watched the way the guy blew up on teammates and quit on plays and stuff here. However, this version of George Pickens would make the Steelers a Super Bowl contender, if not a Super Bowl favorite. And there's no denying that. I mean, he has produced the numbers through these first 6 games. If you extrapolate them out over the course of a full season, we're talking about Randy Moss and New England numbers when you take the touchdowns into account. So I don't see how any Steelers fan, even with the headaches he caused here, could look at that and say, getting a third-round pick in the 2026 draft that didn't do anything to tangibly help our team, I don't know how any Steelers fan could look at that as a good deal. It's not. And given the way Aaron Rodgers has gelled here and coalesced with teammates, in the way George Pickens is playing without a new contract and is on his best behavior, it does lead me to wonder if you had kept him here, what kind of offense they would have right now and how much more dynamic they would be with both Pickens and DK Metcalf in their offense.
Wow. Pony, real quick, can you represent the city of Pittsburgh? We do a thing here called King of the Mountain where we're trying to find the best NFL team of all time, and we pit, today it's the 84 Niners versus the 86 Giants. About a month ago, the 78 Steelers went up against the 72 Dolphins and got knocked off. And I was upset about it because from my NFL films, watching and everything, that team was the best. And are you okay with that? Am I missing something? Should the Pittsburgh Steelers with Swan and Stallworth and those guys have advanced?
Well, I think they should in this respect. Like, I think what the Steelers did in the 70s was more impressive than what the Dolphins did in that one season. And I know Miami won multiple Super Bowls, but to me, if you're trying to find a team from that era, a singular team from the 70s that defines what the Steelers were all about, you pick either the 75 team or the 78 team. And what makes the 78 team probably a better call is that was when Bradshaw really came into his own, and with the changing, evolving NFL rules, they opened up the offense more and took advantage of those 2 wide receivers. And it's interesting, like everyone here that's younger thinks, oh, in the 70s, all the Steelers did was run the ball and play defense. That's not actually true. That 78 and 79 team allowed for Bradshaw to air the ball out, and he won the MVP award that 78 season. So, yeah, of course I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say a team quarterbacked by Earl Morrall for the majority of that season was better than the 78 Steelers, probably made up of like more Hall of Famers than any team in NFL history. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Steelers.
in defense of Earl Morrall, he really only attempted like 6 passes a game. It really was not his offense, and Bob Greasy still got the Hall of Fame. Pony, thank you for doing this. Have a great show today and leading up to the Thursday night game between the Steelers and the Bengals. And yeah, let's get the rotation on that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, man. There's more to life. There's more out there.
We're working on our 5th episode right now, Maggie. Yeah, so it is a twilight zone of sorts for me. But thank you for having me on. And Steelers, easy win tonight. Final score, Steelers 38, Bengals 3.
Whoa, love it, dude.
Walking in confident. Love it. Thank you,
See
sir.
you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Can we take out Maggie's criticism of Disney just in case there's a
she's
TV
never going to
offer?
work for ESPN.
Listen,
Yeah, what are you doing? It's not ESPN. They own everything.
Listen, I'm a Disney Plus subscriber. I've got it all. I got Hulu. I got Disney Plus. My kid watches everything on there. I've got the take that I think Frozen 2 is better than Frozen. I'll do Disney with you guys all day. It's this particular show. You've missed it. Your daughters didn't see it. It's a particular type of irritating.
Yeah, no, I could tell just from that little clip we heard in the background of Pony's house.
Not a fan of the mouse, huh?
It's not like, remember Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, at least when Perloff and I were kids, maybe EJ, you caught the tail end of this. This was like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. They were like real people who used to sing and dance songs. Did you remember this?
I missed that.
You missed this, okay.
Yeah.
EJ's
I'm aware of this. Yeah,
I've seen lots of clips of Ryan Gosling.
So this was my
dancing like
wheelhouse.
crazy as a Disney kid. Yeah.
Totally. So that was the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and they had this cool song and everything. This is totally different. I wish I could sit down with the powers to be at Disney. I've got some thoughts. It's a cartoon. The house is alive. It's weird. They do weird stuff.
Are you guys a Dora household?
Not really. I wish. I wish, because I got the Paramount Plus. It's sitting there.
The voice of Dora was at Comic-Con.
Dora.
Really?
Yeah.
Dora.
If you've seen 2,000 episodes of Dora, my favorite thing my kids did, and this is totally crazy.
Swiper, no swiping.
Swiper, no swiping. We somehow landed with a bunch of Spanish language Dora books.
Yeah.
I love
and
this.
I would make up what is actually happening in the story. And if you see it, it's like a talking log talking to a frog with a machete or something. So I would explain to the kids what happened, because it is the most drugged out, weirdest thing that actually what happens with Dora. Trust me, I'll call your son Lucas and I'll read my version of Dora. It's my kid's favorite bit of all time. Even they still bring it up. It's like, Dad, remember when you used to make up Dora stories?
An off-season great debate could be either what is the most watchable kids cartoon or what's the least watchable. I think most watchable kids cartoon might be a little better.
That'd be way more fun.
Yeah.
Wait, what's most watchable? Like
people
what's an example?
Bluey. My kid doesn't love that.
Oh, you going that young?
Yeah. So no, see, I don't think people are.
No, not. Well, SpongeBob probably would be.
SpongeBob is top
SpongeBob's
one.
for adults too, though.
Oh, is it ever?
Yeah, like The Simpsons. That's for both, I think.
SpongeBob is a little more kid oriented, but the Bluey, that's like 3-year-olds.
Well,
yeah, that's like the preschool kid.
Yeah,
or kindergarten too.
That's what my kid's in kindergarten. I mean,
yeah, kindergarten for sure.
It's funny because we'll watch some of these and they'll do weird celebrity cameos on some of these cartoons that you would never expect. My kid used to like the show called Blaze. It was a Nickelodeon show, and one day DJ Khaled was the guest voice.
Oh yeah,
I was like, he must have kids. Yeah.
I'll tell you the GOAT, and I know this from a lot of Octonauts is
I remember
king
those.
of the mountain.
It's a little slow.
So fast. Slow. It's the most fascinating. There's nothing slow about it. It's a wild adventure where you learn about the biology of the ocean. It's amazing.
Coming up next on Maggie Perloff, we break down Blue's Clues.
I didn't like Blue's Clues.
Obviously, Magic School Bus.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Magic School Bus. That's trippy, dude. Oh man, that was
Miss Frizz.
Yeah, it was
What
awesome.
is she on? Definitely Miss Frizz was microdosing.
She was. I think she was sniffing the glue in the art class. I can't believe you guys are Maggie. You didn't like Octonauts? My daughter's first crush was the cat in Octonauts. It was a pirate. Yeah.
And we will unpack that next.
Oh my God!
She loves that you told America that, by the way.
Yeah. No, she's talked about it before. No, I like the bunch of Netflix. Netflix has really good kids cartoons.
Yeah, we've been through those. 888-710-4ISN. We got to the end. 888-710-4476 coming up. Dan Campbell taking on the league. But was he right? I'll tell you that next.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Perloff Show. Get to headlines with Chris Lopesti in just one moment. Just to update on one of our polls, Pearl. What's the better head coaching job? Right now, Penn State leading Florida 57% to 43%. And then which school is most likely to screw up the coaching hire? Florida actually, air quotes, wins that poll 55% to 45%. Again, the Billy Napier has not been fired, but the new reporting today is that the walls are closing in. Win or lose this weekend, he could be shown the door.
Yeah, I mean, even if he does survive this little 2 weeks or whatever period, he's clearly, I find it very unlikely that he can save his job like he did last year. And honestly, you watch that offense, like, why should he save his job? It's time to reinvent the program.
So that means Lagway is going to also potentially be in the portal and be on the market, and that's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Willie, you'd think he'd go home to Texas, but A&M has a quarterback, and Texas has a quarterback. So where does he go?
Texas Tech.
I think Baylor might be a
also
spot.
could be
because
something.
it's closer to Houston where he's from. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Or does Lagway stay at Florida for some reason? Maybe he gets to hire a coach, but does a 20-year-old kid know how to do that?
Do 45-year-old adults know how to do that? I don't think they do.
It's like, hey, DJ, you're 2 years out of high school. Who should we hire as our head coach?
I know. I love that people are asking Cam Ward. Who do you think the Titans should hire? It's like, how would Cam Ward know?
That's a great point. Cam's like, I'm just here trying to learn how to play in the NFL. I don't really have a great opinion.
Yeah. How about my guy Bill over here? Anyway, let's get to CeeLo.
We're keeping a book right now. We ask.
What's up?
All right, quickly on last night's baseball, ALCS resumed. The Blue Jays on the board. Despite trailing 2-0 early on, they hit 5 home runs. They end up defeating the Mariners in Seattle 13-4. Vlad Guerrero Jr., part of that home run contingent for Toronto. He had a 4-for-4 night at the plate, just a triple short of the cycle. Game 4 tonight, 8:33 Eastern Time. You also got Game 3 of the NLCS with the Dodgers up 2-0 on the Brewers, heading back home to Los Angeles. That one gets underway shortly after 6 Eastern. Now, going back to the series opener, you had that wild 8-6-2 double play with the Max Muncy almost grand slam, and Teoscar Hernandez was the guy who got thrown out at home plate for the Dodgers in a game they'd obviously go on to win. So he's a guest on MLB Network, and I'm not sure who's on the set beyond Harold Reynolds, because in the longer version of this clip, I certainly heard his voice.
Greg Caserta by chance?
It's possible. Maybe you can help ID, because we hear a lot of laughter here in this clip I'm about to play. So Hernandez takes the hit for his role in that play, and then the reaction at the end I thought was particularly strong.
In the moment, the heat of the game, make the mistakes, and I that up. Hey,
that guy there. It's like gasping for air.
I mean, you guys are former professional baseball players. No one's ever dropped an F-bomb.
I know. It's quite the reaction there. So I don't know. That kind of caught my attention a little bit. I don't know who it was. Maybe probably best we don't ID that individual. But they were having a blast.
Dan
there
Plesac.
On the set.
No,
sure.
I don't know who it was.
Yes,
I gotta be honest. That quote is pretty funny.
I
don't know what it is. Just the way he said it.
Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do? Yeah. We did our great debate yesterday.
My bad.
What's the greatest play in a losing effort? And it was inspired actually off of that, because this great double play. But obviously the Brewers end up losing the game.
Yeah.
Did you know the other PS to that story?
No.
One of your favorite things, that haunted hotel in Milwaukee, the Pfister.
Yeah.
Apparently, Teoscar Hernandez, I know I'm glossing over that.
Yeah.
Teoscar Hernandez's wife was with him on the road, and she refused to stay at the hotel because it was haunted.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't believe in ghosts. She didn't want to be there, and they stayed somewhere else.
Yeah. No, she's smart. I would not stay there.
Yeah.
I stay there once not knowing the story.
Oh.
Now I would never stay there again.
Did you hear the footsteps and the flickering lights and stuff?
No, I didn't hear anything, but I didn't know about it. If I had known that it was haunted, then I would have heard them.
What's the name of the hotel again?
The Pfister, spelled with a P.
Yeah. PF.
You know what I like about his answer was, like, it's such a long, complicated play, and we've had so many explanations, and you even have a backstory with it. And then it's like, yep, I bleeped that one up. That's like, it's such a simple explanation for the most complicated story of all time.
I wasn't sure if it was a triple play at first. You guys point out there was already one out.
No, you and all of America. I still think it could have been a triple play, even with one out. Can you get 4 outs in an inning?
Not 4 outs. You can get 4 strikeouts in an inning with the drop third strike.
Yeah, looks like I think that's a good way to get out of something bad. Just to be like, you really messed up everything here, Perloff. Yeah.
That's what Tua should have won with yesterday.
I screwed that up. Got any more to say? Nope. I just screwed it up.
Yeah. All right, NFL, a couple of former players, stars really, on the defensive side of the ball, getting after Pro Football Focus. Here was Chris Long on his podcast reacting to NBC's on-screen PFF ratings graphic as part of their Sunday night broadcast and starting lineups.
Get Mahomes, quarterback 13 of 32, off my television screen. God forbid there's somebody watching the game who doesn't know who Patrick Mahomes is.
Right.
They're going to be badly misguided, brother. 13th best quarterback in the league? I mean, if I was Nandi... and maybe he earned it this year, but I would sue. I'd be in Chris Collinsworth's backyard, dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'd be at the window.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what the You can't do that,
He's
dude.
talking to Derek Nottie there, who's 191 out of 191. And we don't have time, but J.J. Watt was ripping it, too. He's like, I know defensive line play, and without talking to the player, the coach, the scheme, I can't give a grade just watching the tape by myself.
There you go.
Thank you, E.J. Stewart. Thank you, Manny Rodriguez, Chris Lopresti, Andrew Kaplan. Thank you to Peter King, who joined us today, Andrew Fillipponi, the Weedos, the coffee drinkers. It takes a village. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.
That up. Hey,